Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? What's going on? Thank y'all for tuning in today. Whew. All right, today is Wednesday, hump day, making it halfway through the week. Hope everybody is feeling good, feeling fine, trying to make it through your work week and all that goodness. And if you're having a good or a bad day, man, make the best out of it. But if you can't, I'm going to let Mr. Child break it down to you.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
As long as you did not get unalived, you are here to make it another day. Regardless of how hard some things may seem, you still got to keep pushing, grinding, staying focused, consistent, and doing what others cannot do. Staying disciplined, staying consistent, staying to the grind, keeping your own mindset and your philosophy going forward, and keep pushing. That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you don't know, we are simultaneously streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. And if you are on YouTube and you see that thumbs up button pop up on your screen like so, hit that thumbs up button. Well, it won't pop up on your screen, but on my screen it pops up. It's for me to let you know that you should hit that like button. Greatly appreciated to get the algorithm out, to get this message out, because we got a message to deliver today. Of course. If you want to contribute to today's show, there's a Cash App and a Venmo. Cash App Daniel2888, Venmo Danny-Daniel-00. And what's going on? I think I'll turn my phone down. There we go. All right. Anyway, so today's show we got lined up for you. We have our 4 topics that we have to get into. 3 topics that we got to get into, and they are 3 actually pretty decent topics that we got to go over, because it's some stuff that we got to get done, and some stuff that we need to learn about, because the world is changing rapidly. Changing super fast. Whether you know it or not, stuff is going down. So for the fitness segment of the show, we're going to get straight into the muscle of the day. The muscle of the day is going to be your calf muscles. So we're going to go in. I'm going to give you a detailed understanding of what your calf muscles are, the muscles that work inside of it. I'm going to read you to give you a good understanding, to let you know the importance of the calves, the muscles that work with it, how they work, the functions, all that good stuff, just to educate you, because I'm pretty sure you don't know about the anatomy of your body. You're pretty sure you're pretty dumb and pretty foreign to it, but yet you use these muscles and don't even know it. So I'm going to sit here and tell you exactly about your inner body and your inner workings of a particular muscle in your body, just so you can walk out today and be like, didn't know that. Calf muscles are important. Yes, so with that being said, we're going to learn about that. Then we're going to go to the economy segment of the show. Going to watch a little short video that's going to basically tap in and talk about America and its decline that we're going through. Plus, we got to keep up with the government shutdown that's going on. I mean, that's for sure. We're going to look a little bit into the government shutdown, then dive into understanding the decline of America and what's going on and how things are happening, and what is some pretty savvy ideas and things that you could do while the decline is happening, because it is inevitable. It is going down. It is what it is. So we're going to look at that and get a good understanding, interject, talk about some things, look at how things were in the past, and bring us up to a little bit of a present. Not too long of a segment there. Then we're going to dive into the main part of the show, which is going to be the AI segment of the show, or the last segment of the show, I should say, not the main. This one's going to be a little different. So we're going to dive in. We're going to understand a video game that told the future about AI in today's current time. So we're going to watch this video, or a video game, and we're going to listen to the video game talk. And the video game is going to explain basically how today's world is, how things are going in today's life, which is crazy, because I remember this game. It came out on PlayStation 3 in 2001. Yeah, and it's an older game, but it's really a classic, and it's going to explain basically how life is now, and it has a really eerie way of talking about it. Then we're going to dive in a little bit further, and we're going to kind of tie in the AI to understand more of the human body, but more on the aspect of understanding DNA and something called CRISPR. So we're going to dive in to get a deeper understanding as to what these people are potentially trying to do or doing with your DNA, and how CRISPR, or I guess is how you say it, CRISPR, how it can be used to basically genetically modify and switch up your DNA to the fact that it can actually pass down whatever they did in your DNA and altered it to your children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, and so on and so forth. And we're also going to find out that it comes to pass that the pandemic 19, some of the, is it Pfizer shots or Maduro shots? It's one of those shots we're going to look into and come to find out that it had actual DNA modifications to it. Yes. So we're going to find out a lot of stuff today, and we're going to see exactly how this could play out into the future. And if this is something that people should be worried about, I think you should, because we always see things happen from a time past where a lot of conspiracy theories always like, oh, they're trying to do this, and oh, they're trying to do that, and oh, they're trying to. But then when you kind of like look at the past and look at now, you kind of think to yourself like, well, all that stuff they said in the past unfortunately seemed to come true. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that from the past came true. And as a matter of fact, I remember I was watching, what was I watching? What was it? It was something in the year of like either the mid to early, no. It was a dude giving a lecture. Micho something. He was trying to speak about the future of AI robotics. This was back in the 80s. And he was giving a lecture and people were like laughing at him and joking about what he was saying. Well, not really joking with him, but they were laughing. Not like cracking up, but they were like laughing and stuff like that. And he was trying to say about keeping a natural diet and, you know, keeping things natural in your life and living a natural life and knowing that a lot of people won't live a natural life and majority of people are going to go down into the degeneracy of living an unnatural life. And he spoke about, you know, robots being in the future and how food would be modified and all that stuff. And then people were like, laughing at stuff he was saying and things like that. But when you look in the comment section, some people were like, those people are so rude, they're disingenuous, laughing. It's like, well, if you understood, if you lived in that time frame, like that stuff seemed like a distant future away. Like a lot of people thought they would be dead by the time what he said would come to fruition. And then here we are 30 years later, 35, 40 years later, I would say, here we are, we're here, and it happened. But looking into some of the things he was saying and reading the comment section, you realize that the understanding of somebody who is like in their 20s looking at something from a times past in the 90s or maybe 80s versus somebody who was born in the 70s or 80s looking at the same information, the way they see it is different because one lived through it and the other didn't. So one person is like, wow, like I can't believe they're laughing and thinking this is funny. But if you grew up during that time, you would understand you didn't think you would live to see it. And the world was so different. There was no cell phones. And when you're watching a old recording of somebody in the 80s and 90s, a lot of people who are younger in their 20s can't fathom to understand that whoever was recording had a big old bulky camera or like a small handheld camera that was like yay big that you had to put on a stand or something. And it was a big camera. It wasn't like a phone where you just hold your phone up like this and just do this. It wasn't that. So it's a whole lot that goes into it. But we're going to get into and understand this gene editing, genome editing, CRISPRs and gene sequencing. And we're also going to look at people who tried to tell us about these things in the past and how we are living here in the future and what this could mean moving in the future but as these people are doing these things, how are they trying to sell it to people? How people are going to probably buy into it because, I mean, people always do. And then what do you think they're going to end up using it for in the long run? So when we learn about this DNA gene sequencing and CRISPRs and things like that, you're going to see how this thing is not going to turn out well, and it will never be used for your benefit. Anybody going into your blood to edit your DNA, saying they're doing it in the name of helping you get over disease, because that's how they're marketing it. Like, oh, it can cure Alzheimer's, it can cure HIV, it can cure sickle cell, which, and I'm pretty sure if anybody who has that would love to get rid of that, but then understanding that the implications can be for everlasting on your future generation of kids if you choose to have any, or if you have any. So we're going to look into that, and this is going to be a whole lot I got to pack in. So I want to see if I can get this all in 3 hours. Well, a little bit under 3 hours now, but I think I can. Yeah, I think I can get it in about that amount of time. So let's not waste too much more time. Let's dive right in and get straight to it, because we have a lot to learn and a lot to unpack. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get this fitness banner here up at the bottom. Bam. And we are going to get our first banner started to get this show on the road. So let's get it.
Let's get ready for the fitness segment of the show.
There I am. There we go. I don't know what's going on. Couldn't see myself there for a minute. But anyway, anyhow, let me see. What is this? What is going on my phone? What is happening with the phone? Is it this? All right. There we go. Come on, cell phone. All right, let me get this straight real quick. Here we go. Okay, I think we're good there. All right, so anyway, I'm going to dive into this segment of the show. We're going straight into the muscle of the day. The muscle of the day is going to be the posterior leg muscles, which are going with the calves. So the calf muscle is going to be the muscle of the day. So we're going to start out with, let me see, let me pull this up here. What do we have? We got that muted. All right, cool. So we're going to start out with the posterior leg muscles, which is going to be the calf. Change that banner as we go. And I'm going to read off to you exactly how this is going to, how this muscle works. So as you have a visual there, and I'll throw other visuals on the screen as we go along. As a matter of fact, let me put some visuals up right now. Let me go ahead and actually get that going. I can actually just do it like this while we go along. It's actually be a better idea to do it this way. Let me see. Will this work out? Let me see. I should already had it going, but you know, life happens. Okay, this will be the better way to do it. Yeah, this is the way to do it, because then I could just swap out things as we go along, and you'll always have something visually appealing to look at the entire time, which will be fun.
I try and hide them, but
Oh, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. All right, is this the last one? Yeah. All right, cool. That'll work out perfectly. So get that back up on the screen and we'll continue. Calf muscles. All right. So the calf muscles is going to be, let's move right along and get into it. Oh, buddy, look at you. I forgot to put the dog in the cage. He on the bed laid out. So anyway, with the calf muscles, let's go ahead and talk about the calf muscles. So what we have here is, let me get into it. Let me break it down. So the calf muscle is located. Actually, let me get this bigger so I can see it, because this is kind of hard to see. All right, so the calf muscle. So this is a large diamondback shaped muscle. It is located, and they are primarily made up of two major muscles. So you got the excuse me, how do I say this word? Gastrocnemius and the soleus. There we go. The gastrocnemius, this is the large one. It's a diamond-shaped muscle you can actually see when you flex your muscles. So when you flex the calf, that's that muscle you see is the gastrocnemius. So you got two of them, but one is the soleus, one is the gastrocnemius. It has two heads, a medial head, which is close to the inside of your leg, and then the lateral head, which is close to the outside of your leg. The gastrocnemius muscle originates from the lower end of your femur, and that's your thigh bone, and ups and what the heck? Why can't I see this? And it runs down to insert into the Achilles tendon, which connects to your heel. All right. Let me see if I can zoom in on this, because this is rather small for me to see. Let me see. Can we get a zoom factor on here? Is there a zoom button on here? Let me see. How come you can't zoom in on this? This is weird. No, they won't let me zoom. All right, cool. Well, let's see. The functionality of this muscle that helps you point your toes downward. So the gastrocnemius muscle helps you point your toes downward, and that's called plantar flexion, and it assists in bending the knee. Then it makes the muscle that you use when you're sprinting, jumping, or doing calf raises. Basically, when you need explosive power. So the gastrocnemius muscle is the one you need when you need explosive power, and this muscle will usually be big, and people you would see like boxers. For some reason, boxers will have like, you'll see boxers with big calf muscles. And usually if they got big calf muscles, let me change that back. And usually if they got big calf muscles, just know that they're gonna knock the living hell out of you. They finna punch you extremely hard because they sit on their punches. So if they're able to generate that power from down here and bring it up here, yeah, you in a lot of trouble, because being punched by a boxer is no fun. It is extremely, extremely frustrating. Like, it's very aggravating. It's not fun at all. Like, you think you've been punched till you've been punched by somebody who only throws punches. So yeah, that's for sure a thing. Now the soleus muscle, now that you understand, the soleus muscle that is underneath the gastrocnemic muscle, it's the one that doesn't get as much visual attention. It's not the one that you see that often. It's incredibly important for endurance and stability. It originates from the upper part of your tibia and fibula, and those are the two bones in your lower leg. And also joins the Achilles tendon. The soleus is mostly responsible for plantar flexion while your knee is bent. All right, so while your knee is bent, that's what that's for. And whenever you are walking, standing, or doing seated calf raises, the soleus is putting in the work. So seated calf raises, you're going to use this one that's underneath. Whenever you're working out and stuff like that, this will be the one that you're going to use. You're sprinting, jumping, or doing calf raises, I would say standing up, you're going to be using the other one, the gastrocnemius, the one that's on the outside. But this one is on top. The gastrocnemius muscle is on top of this one. This one's underneath. This one's underneath, as you can see. This one's over the top, and this one's under it. All right? All right, so together these muscles are like the body's shock absorbers, and they'll help you push off the ground. So they maintain your balance, and then they'll level out the support for proper posture. And strong calves can improve your athletic performance and reduce your risk of injury and make everyday movements like climbing stairs feel effortless. So yes, you do want to have strong calf muscles, and I would say jogging would be a good way to build up your calf muscle strength. Never, ever, ever, ever exclude cardio or jogging whenever it comes to your muscles, especially your leg muscles, because you are using your body weights bouncing and all the impact. So if your calves are like a shock absorbers, if you're a person who lifts or goes and works out and you put on all this muscle and mass and stuff like that, and then you go jogging, you're probably going to feel the pain in your calves because your body is trying to understand this new amount of mass and weight that you put on it. So it's important to, do cardio and stuff of that nature and all that good stuff. All right, so now we know what the muscle is. Let's watch some ladies flex their muscles. So we'll start out with this, and I'm going to keep reading because we're almost done. So let's see. The strong calves can improve your athletic performance. They reduce the risk of injury and make everyday movements like climbing the stairs effortless. I already read that. All right, so fun fact. Here's a fun fact. Your calf muscles are sometimes called your second heart. They're called your second heart because they help pump blood back up from your legs towards your heart. Every time they contract, they push blood through your veins against gravity. So training your calves doesn't just build muscle, it helps your overall circulation. So keep that in mind. And then also, the next time you hit the gym, don't skip calf day. Train your gastrocnemius muscles for calf raises, and then your soleus muscles with seated calf raises. So if you want to do standing calf raises, that's going to be the outside one, the one that's on top, the gastrocnemius. If you want to train the underneath one, the soleus, you want to sit down and do seated calf raises. I'm curious as to what this would actually, the visual one you can see right here is you can see the gastrocnemius. That's the one popping out right there. So I would assume that using the leg press machine and turning it into calf raises, I don't know. That's actually a good one. Maybe your feet make a difference. Not maybe. I mean, they do. Depending on how you position your feet. If you do this way or this way, those work different muscles of your calves. So just depending on how your foot is placed on this one, I would say. But right now, looking at what I'm seeing, it seems like the gastrocnemic muscle is the one getting all of the work on this one for sure. So here we go, girl right here. So she's doing standing. And as you can see right there, clear as day, which calf muscles is being raised. I know we ain't just looking at them calves. I tell you that. We are not just looking at them calves. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, boy. All right. We will be back. Here you got these two. All right, this lady. Jesus Christ. No, that's not it, sweetie. That is not it. We'll go with these calves over here. Oh no. In today's world, that one might be a transformer in today's world. We're going to go with these calves over here. We're not going to rock with, I can't have these on my shoulders. Nah, buddy. No, sir. Like I said, you might be a transformer. We'll stick with these lady likes over here. We'll stick with these lady likes. That's about all the muscle you need on your legs. We'll go with these. We're not going to go with all that. Yeah, now these are what boxer calves look like. If you want to know what I mean when I say boxers got big calf, this is a prime example of boxer calf muscles. This right here, for sure. These are boxer calf muscles, for sure. Like, yeah, you know you finna get mollywopped in your mouth if you see a dude or a boxer with these. And who knows, she could be a boxer. No, they might be bodybuilders. Yes, there's it down here. They're bodybuilders. But this one, these are better, I would say. More feminine. Then we got this lady here on stage. She's up here showing Jesus. See, she got boxer calves too. Even the shoes. She got the shoes that almost make it look like. You see how these calves look? Those are boxer calves for sure. Yeah, she got boxer calf muscles. They don't fit on women too well. Women shouldn't have these kind of calves, but that's my opinion. And then Asian women, I mean, they always can get away with strong leg muscles because it's just the way their body is built. So they kind of have these strong like thighs, and you can't have skinny calves to go with these thick thighs that they have. But, you know, they usually have thick thighs, but then, like, you know, their booties be as flat as this pot right here. But, you know, it all works out. It's all proportionate. It's all proportionate, but that's a nice little Filipino right there, you know what I mean? That's what, see? Hair all in a messy bun, you know what I mean? Probably ain't got, well, she may have makeup on, she may not. You know what I mean? This might be a teeth brush and a face wash and a hair in a messy bun. This right here is fair game right here, buddy. Fair game. All right. Now let's go back to our winners of the calves workouts. Let's go back to the winners. So we got this one right here. That's the winner right there. That's the one. Yeah, buddy. We got that winner. Not y'all. And yeah, this one. This was the one. Yep. She reigned supreme. She was victorious. This is another Ling Ling too, I think, right? Is this a Ling Ling? I think this is a Ling Ling for sure. I think so from the side view. Let me see if this is a Ling Ling. Hold on. Let me see if Ling Ling is this. If this is Ling Ling. Let me pull up real quick. Hold on. Is this a Ling Ling? Nah. Nah, that's a Becky. Yeah, that's a Becky. That's not a Ling Ling. That's a Becky. Yeah, nah. This Becky. Yep. That's Becky. That's a Becky for sure. But this Ling Ling right here, though. Yeah, we good on this one. Nice little smooth legs right here. Yeah. Ain't got nothing done. Yeah, boy. Yes, sir. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's edition. There you go. There's another Becky right there. She got on the calf muscles and the cowboy boots. So I guess she's hiding the boxer calves in her cowboy boots. I guess what she's trying to do. But she can get it too. She can get the business for sure. But anyhow, that's going to be it for the muscle of the day because we went ahead and had to figure that one out. So hopefully you got a good understanding of how to work your calf muscles when you go to the gym and work out. Calf muscles I usually do calf muscles. If I'm in a gym, I usually do calf muscles last. And it doesn't matter if I'm doing push day or pull day or leg day. I always make sure my last workout is usually some kind of calf raises, usually standing calf raises, but you always want to add calf workouts to your workouts, because a lot of times your calves are getting neglected. People go in and do squats and do all sorts of thigh workouts, but don't ever like pay attention to their calves, because your calves are important, because it's like your shock absorbers for your body. So you start running or something, or trying to jump, and you got weak calves, and you know your absorbers ain't able to, you know what I mean? And that's what helps with knee bending. So you don't want to have weak calves if that's what's supporting the rest of your body weight up from the, you know, from the bottom all the way up. You don't want to have weak calves. You want to have something strong that's going to support your knees and support all that heavy ass weight you got from the thighs up. You need a strong foundation. You got to remember, from the waist down is your foundation. From the waist up is aesthetics. That's how I look at it. From the waist down is foundation. From the waist up is aesthetics. However, I would say a strong back is probably going to be more important than having a strong front, because your back is your posture. So you want to have a strong back muscles as opposed to just being all, you know, chest and buys and, you know, abs. And you want to have a strong core, but have a strong back. You have a strong back, yeah, you're going to cause some problems for sure. What is this? I got something on my shirt? Okay. Yeah, having a strong back is going to be extremely important. More important than what most people know, because it's your posture. It's what keeps you upright. It's what, you know, it's where all your strength comes from, really. All your strength comes from your back. If you got a weak back, it's probably why it's one of the reasons why you could have lower back pain. I mean, but then again, if you have weak glutes, that's another reason that's going to cause a lot of lower back pain. So you want to strengthen anywhere in your posterior part of your body to keep you strong. But for today, keep your calf muscle strong. Hit some standing calf raises on the leg press, different leg, point your feet in different directions. Do some seated calf raises. Point your feet in different directions when you do it to see what you feel differently. And also use the reverse tibula. I mean, what is it? The reverse calf raise, where you're working the front of your calf. You're going to work the front calf, the front of your calves. I mean, I think that's going to be a really, really good one to go, because that one's underrated. Not a lot of people do it. And if you can find it, which is usually hard to find, those are ones you could do. If you find that, go ham on that for sure. Like for sure, go ham on those. All right. Let me make sure I got this thing on before I go any further. Let me see. Are we good? Where are we at? Let me see. There it is. All right, cool. I got that right there so I can see that. Cool. So with that being said, that's going to be it for the fitness segment of today's show. So let's go ahead and slide on out of here. All right, we're going to slide out of here for the fitness portion of the show. Let me get all these things off the screen. All right, but yeah, always keep that in mind, man, and keep a healthy diet. Your diet's going to be mainly important with everything that you do. Poor diet, it's hard to outwork a bad diet, so try to keep your diet in check. If you know how to keep your diet in check, keep a high protein intake, lower your carbs, you should be good. You know, try to eat, I don't know, about your body weight in protein when it comes to grams. If not your body weight, at least like 80% of your body to keep you nice. And number one, you'll be full all the time. You know, you'll be like satisfied with the food that you have inside your body. And your protein's not going to break down into sugar, as opposed to eating all that carbs. That's going to break down into sugar, and that's how you get fat. That's why, like, a lot of American people are fat. Whenever people come from different countries to America, they just blow up doing the same things they did back home. A lot of sugar in our foods, a lot of carbs in our foods, which then breaks down and turns into glycogen or glucose, whatever you want to call it. And it just makes you just fatter naturally, even if you have the same diet in a different country. So that's just how the American diet is. That's why everybody's always bigger in America. But it is what it is. But, you know, the more you know, the more you grow. All right. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and hop into the economy segment of the show. I'm going to go ahead and jump right on over and let our sexy lady introduce us to the fitness segment of the show. Here we go.
Welcome to the economy segment of the show. Enjoy.
There we go. Let me change my banner real quick. All right. So now we're on the fitness segment of the show. I had to change my banner. I didn't know what I was doing there for a second. We're on the fitness segment of the show. First things first, we have to go over, as you probably do or don't know, in America, we are in a government shut down. And I think we're on day, let me pull this up for you real quick. We're on day 21 or 22. It says 21. Let's see. It says 21 on the screen. There it is. It says 21, but I really believe we're on day 22. Yeah, I think we're on day 22. It's weird because they got day 21 up here with 14 hours and 15 minutes, but down here is day 21, 13 hours and 15 minutes. So who knows what they got right or wrong, but we are in day 21 of the government shutdown, as you can see. And this is not looking good. It's not looking good whatsoever, simply due to the fact that if this thing keeps on going, I'll tell you one thing for sure, that we're going to have a lot of problems. A lot of people are dealing with governmental assistance issues. A lot of things will be stopping soon, very soon. The last time we had a government shutdown was when Trump was in office last time. I believe it was in 2019 when he did it, between 32 and 35 days, which is the longest one recorded since the 70s, unless there was one longer than that previously. He gave us the longest government shutdown. That was last time. Well, this time, there's a government shutdown going on, and I think Buddy is going to outdo the previous government shutdown, the one that was in, the one that was the longest one, which is 30 some odd days. The way things are going, I'm pretty sure he's going to outdo himself on this government shutdown. I can just feel it. I can just tell. And since that's going to happen, it's already been stated that, government assistance, WIC and food stamps and things like that, housing, anything that you get paid from the government for, any assistance, people are still working, but at the same time, like, how many are calling in? How many are getting laid off? How many are getting fired? How many of all these different things are happening? And all these things that are going to take a huge toll, because 40 million people are going to be without food assistance come November 1st. And if people already ran out of their food assistance that was on the card, then they're already out. This already starting. So a lot of people on the social media have been taken to things like TikTok and speaking on said issues about if they don't get their government assistance, then they gonna do some looting. So let's see what a couple of people say, because I got a few people on here that we can look at, and we're going to see how people are feeling about this, because it's not just food stamps, but it's a lot of different things. It's food. Like I said, it's food stamps. I don't think WIC is going out, because WIC is for women and infant children. I don't think that one is going out. I think that one's going to still stay standing, but there's a bunch of other things, like no Medicaid is going to be another one. So kids that are on Medicaid, that's going to have a pretty bad hit for children and stuff like that. So it's gonna cause some issues, and we just got to see how this is gonna affect everybody. But anyway, let's look at what this lady says, because she don't look too happy. But let's hear what she says about not having her food stamps.
Baby, when y'all go grocery shopping next month, y'all need to be very careful, because apparently they done got started. Y'all know next month a lot of people not gonna get their food stamps and they SNAP benefits, and a lot of people gonna be desperate and hungry. A Walmart employee came on here last night talking about how they had emergency evacuate the Walmart because people done stormed up in there trying to put stuff in their bags and be stealing. Baby, when y'all go to the grocery store next month, y'all better get in and get out. Don't be standing around trying to have no conversation with somebody from church. Don't stuff your buggy too full either. Get a few items and then leave. If you gotta go 50 miles per hour out that doggone parking lot, go 50 miles per hour out that doggone parking lot. Or if you want to be that person, baby, buy somebody's groceries for them. Help them where you can help. Period. Baby, when y'all go grocery shopping next month, y'all need to be very...
Okay. As you see here, she's basically letting everybody know that she says some stuff has already happened. I haven't heard anything happening. However, here's something ironic that I would want to point out that she named. All right. So here's something, and this is something that people should pay attention to. So this right here, she said that people stormed into Walmart, right? And which I haven't heard of, which you know what? Let me type that and see if I can find it. Let's see if people did storm into Walmart. Let's see. Let's find that out first. Let's see. People stealing food from Walmart. That came up easily. Oh, we're already being heard right now. Let's see. Tried to steal. No, that was last year. Okay. I don't see anything recent. So she's just saying what she's saying. I didn't see anything. So I don't see where she's talking about where people have written in recently and stole food from Walmart's government shutdown. Let me see if that changes it. Let's see. Government shutdown. Because you got social media videos claiming mass looting at Walmart stores. People saying they will steal benefits from Walmart. I don't see anything or any videos that's showing me anything. Maybe the good old TikTok will pull something up, but I don't see anything here off top. So I don't. But what I do see is this. So she mentioned that there's videos of people stealing and looting from Walmart or whatever. However, think about this. If people start going crazy and hunger, everybody knows hunger is a big deal. Like hunger is serious. Like, you know, when people get hungry, they gonna do some crazy, desperate stuff. And not only them being hungry, but the kids is hungry as well. So when you got that mix right there between the two of the kids being hungry and the parents are hungry trying to feed their kids and stuff, that's gonna spell a recipe for disaster. Now, if you look at the recipe for disaster, everything is accumulating together, right? I believe that this government shutdown is gonna go for a long time because of this reason right here. Because you got to look at how they put this stuff together. It's not rocket science. When you look at the big picture, it's not rocket science. They set things up a certain way, and when you look back, hindsight is 2020. You always think like the timing of what they did worked out conveniently well for how things are now. Case in point, Walmart used to be open 24/7. If you live in America, you know Walmart was open 24/7, 365. We never had Walmart closed down. Walmart used to be the go-to spot. If you bored at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning, stumble into Walmart, most likely gonna be just you and the employees there or a couple other people. And you can go grocery shopping. You can be like, oh, I actually need to actually get something. Walmart was always open, never closed. Well, the pandemic kicks off. Walmart starts closing. Right? So now Walmart now has a closing time, which I can't remember the last time Walmart had a closing time. It's weird, but Walmart now closes. Well, ironically, when Walmart starts closing, the pandemic happens. Now you have something called a new normal. When the new normal kicks off, what happens with the new normal? Well, you have people getting jibby jabs, people fighting over jibby jabs, or who should get a jibby jab and who shouldn't. Then you had mass immigration coming in. Now, think about this. If Walmart were to stay open 24/7 and all the immigrants came in and you had these new people coming in with their culture and the way they live back home in their place, and there's a store that's open like Walmart, open 24/7, and a lot of people came in undocumented, illegal and stuff like that, you can't catch these people if they steal out your store because they're not fingerprinted into the system. You know what I mean? They're not fingerprinted into the system, so you can't catch them. If you know, you can get a face picture of them, like, have you seen this person? Or, you know what I mean? But it was convenient for the timing for Walmart to close, and then when the pandemic kicks off, then they kept it that way. It never went back. But the timing was extremely convenient. It's like, you sure did pick a good time to start closing something that's been open for 24/7 like a while. But now, when mass immigration hits, you use the pandemic to close it, but it was perfectly lined up because it made sense, because I would think a lot of people would have been stealing from it if it was open 24/7. Now, we move to today. So today, we just saw this lady right here. Where'd it go? Where's my thing? We just saw this lady right here. She just told us about how she felt about, people doing their food stamps and whatnot, and people have been looting in Walmart and things like that. Now, I believe that Walmart's going to keep this thing going on for a long time. Here's why. Right here, as you see, Walmart freezes hiring for 3 years, maybe no job survive AI, warned CEO. So 2 weeks ago, Walmart puts out a hiring freeze for 3 years. 3 years they're going to be, and this is recently. So it says right here, it's unprecedented. Walmart CEO has announced a 3-year hiring freeze while implementing AI to transform roles. With 2.1 million workers worldwide, including 1.6 in the US, Walmart's action highlights how AI will unavoidably have a significant impact on all types of jobs. Okay, so think about this. What better time to prove that AI is a better reason to have humans than to have humans react to a chaotic situation that they're creating and then turn around and say, see, it's better we have AI here doing these jobs, because if humans are here while people are running in and looting and stealing because they can't eat, they're hungry and they want food, if AI was in here, we wouldn't really have this problem, because then we can do like facial recognition. We can have, all of our AI things set up that causes guardrails and safeguards to stop these people from looting, and no people would get hurt. And if people did get hurt, think about this. If Walmart has humans hired, a lot of humans probably not going to come into Walmart while people are looting, because they don't get paid enough to be dealing with people looting. There's going to be a lot of, not lawsuits, but a lot of, like people getting hurt and hospital bills and maybe lawsuits, because you never know. Somebody might slip and fall or whatever the case. They may blame Walmart. People calling in sick. All these things that can happen because of this chaos that probably is going to ensue. It spells a perfect recipe as to why it's better to have AI in these stores in situations like these as opposed to humans. Because if this happens again, AI not calling in sick, AI is going to have a on the ground detailed recording of everything and everybody that it sees. It's going to be able to probably stop people from even getting in the store, let alone get in and get out. It's probably going to have a way to set up purchases. It's probably going to have all of their, it's probably going to have things set up to where if you want, it's basically me saying this, it's probably going to be a way for them to just say, you know what, if you want to come inside here, get a digital ID and you can come in and shop here. That's just call a spade a spade. At the end of the day, this is a perfect setup to have a digital ID. I mean, that's really what it is. Because, the UK has already implemented and said everybody has to have a digital ID. Well, for 3 years hiring freeze to put AI implemented into your stores with a 3-year hiring freeze, this is a perfect example. If people go in and loot, like that lady saying, looting Walmart and doing all this crazy stuff, this is a perfect recipe for a digital ID. Next time it won't happen. So they're going to I believe they're going to let the chaos ensue. The chaos is going to go crazy. It's going to run rampant. People going to be stupid. They're going to do all sorts of crazy stuff. But the whole time it's setting up the recipe for the digital ID to come in so they can implement the AI with the digital ID. So next time you try to run this out of a Walmart because your food stamps got cut off, they gonna be like, yeah.
Prepare the meat, so don't.
You know what I mean? That's exactly what's gonna happen. So I believe that this is gonna go on for a long time, just so they can implement AI and things like that to basically bring in the digital ID and slowly but surely move forward to the next step in what they're trying to do as far as facial recognition and global security and recording everything. That's what I see. So I think that it's going to go on way longer than what we think, and it's going to be bad, but it's going to show, oh man, things are going bad. I guess we need to crack down on your rights. And people are going to be in such a bad position that they're probably going to be willing to give up their rights for security. It's like, look, if you want to be welcomed back into this, here's a digital ID. You want to eat, you want to shop, yeah, we'll turn the government we'll turn the government back on, but when it cut back on, it's gonna be a digital ID to get into any of our buildings because of what y'all did. Y'all broke in, y'all stole food, y'all looted, people got hurt, lawsuits, people didn't call into work. All that went down, and I think the best and safest way to take care of y'all and to fix this situation from any other problems happening is you're going to need a digital ID to get into any of our buildings moving forward in the future. And therefore, that's how we're going to move forward. So that's what I see happening with this thing. And so I think the government shutdown, when it gets cut back on, I think it might be implementing another form of rights being taken away out of a sign of desperation. Like, yeah, you are you desperate? Oh, you need security. Okay, well, you're desperate. You need my security. Well, we're gonna have to get rid of one of those rights. Here, give me one of your rights. I'll give you security. That's how I see this going down. That's what I see at the end of this government shutdown. Sucks, but I think that's where we're headed. I mean, I don't see no other way this is gonna go because UK already did it. So we'll see. This government shutdown isn't looking too good at all. And then the other thing, when it comes down to what is it? The other thing, whenever it comes down to AI being implemented into different work areas, is going to be this situation right here. Let me see if I can find this girl real quick. There was a girl on that had a DoorDash situation that happened to her, and a lot of people recorded it. I'm trying to find the girl because she tripped out. Like, she actually pulled a move, and I'm trying to see if I can find her, where she walked into a person who was door dashing, and she dropped their food off. But as upon dropping their food off, the person fell asleep waiting on the food. But when they fell asleep, I guess the guy had his pants around his ankles, had his junk out. So she recorded him and then went on social media and said that I was sexually assaulted. Well, yeah, let's see. I can't find her video because they keep taking it down, because I think what happened was she actually recorded the guy's, junk being out. Like, his whole junk was out, and his junk was out. So, you can't be having that on the internet, but she said his junk was out. So she felt like she was sexually assaulted because the man fell asleep. I think his door was open and he had his junk out. So she recorded him instead of just dropping off the food and leaving. She recorded him, went on the internet, said that he assaulted her, although he was asleep, knocked out on the couch. And then now, there's a whole situation going on about this. But anyway, let me pull this up and let's see if this guy has something to say with it, because I'm trying to find the video, but I can't. You know what? Before I put him on the screen, because I don't want to, let me see if I can find it on Twitter. I should have had this up, but this is kind of going in hand with the government shutdown. DoorDash girl, and it's sad she's known as the DoorDash girl now. Sad. Let me see. Where's it? And I've got to be careful with Twitter, because Twitter will actually show the man's meat all over the screen. So you got to be careful dealing with Twitter. Twitter will actually show your whole dingling and everything else. Twitter is not a safe place. Twitter is not a safe, or X, whatever you want to call it. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. Oh man, I'm gonna have to use this guy's version right here. Let me see. Nope, can't find it. All right, so we're gonna use this guy's version. And some people feel like she was actually assaulted, although she was never touched. But the dude left the door open, and I get it. I mean, maybe he was trying something, or maybe he just got through pleasing himself and got knocked out on the couch, door wide open. I don't know. But let's see real quick. Let's watch this quick video and see real quick. Hopefully this guy doesn't screw it up.
Original video from the DoorDash girl who said that she was SA'd by a guy sleeping butt naked on his couch with his front door wide open.
That's fucked up.
See, so there it is right there. She dropped his food off. He left his door open. She pulled her camera out, and then decides to record the dude with his whole junk out, and then proceeds to record a video about how she feels. But let's hear what else she has to say.
Two things. One is if the door was wide open, we see from the video that the staircase is on the right side of the door, meaning that when she walks up the staircase, she can't help but see the guy on this couch, even though the couch isn't in front of his door. I still don't think that she was SA'd. Maybe indecent exposure. I mean, there's some public and privacy business in between there, but I'm not here to argue the legality behind that. I'm here to say that what DoorDash did by firing her is still on her. Intent is everything. This guy is asleep on the couch and she
Yeah, so after she recorded that and put that on the internet, DoorDash banned that guy's account. And then they turned around a couple days later, I believe, and then they banned her from DoorDash, which I was like, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Like, what outcome were you trying to get with that? Because you could have just dropped the food off and just walked off and just went about your day. But instead, you saw him, pulled your phone out, or maybe already had your phone, that doesn't matter. Flipped over to the camera spot, records him, turns around, walks off, and then proceeds to make a video walking away talking about it. And then she gets on the internet and then starts talking about how DoorDash ends up firing her from her job. She gets upset that she gets fired, but it's like, you're just expediting the process as to why companies are going to hire robots over humans. Kind of like how Walmart, I think, is going to do if people start looting over food stamps. If people can't eat and they start looting, Walmart's already got a 3-year hiring freeze. So if they're implementing AI, I believe that they're using this chaos to bring order. The order would be the digital ID. This girl, what does she do? Records a dude with his junk out with the door open. She drops his food off, chooses to record him, then turns around and says she was assaulted, puts it on the internet, tells everybody, outs the guy who was asleep, didn't even know he got recorded. Then you are going, and then she gets fired. You don't think that DoorDash is going to be like, you know what? To avoid any kind of stupidness like this, I'm not saying what she did was stupid. I'm saying for them as a company having to deal with this, they're like, anything for us to have to deal with anything of this nature, we just gonna hire robots. Done deal. We don't have to worry about people recording other things they shouldn't, or they feel like that they should record. The robot just gonna do their job and drop their food off. If the person don't pick the food up from the robot, then the robot just gonna keep it moving, and they're gonna probably have to pay an extra fee for the robot to come back. Like, all of this eliminates all this, you know what I mean? Plus, it's cheaper to probably hire the robot. All this stuff is going to expedite the process and just clarify why they would rather have robots as opposed to humans working. That's all this is just proving. It's just proving that situation right there. Like, it just doesn't make sense as to why she did it, but I mean, she felt a certain way. Now, let me see if there's something else about this girl. I want to see if she says something else about this to see how she kind of carries herself. But here we go.
But yeah, I reported it to DoorDash, and DoorDash did ban the customer. And then 2 days later, DoorDash banned me. But yeah, I reported it to DoorDash, and DoorDash did ban the customer. And then 2 days later, DoorDash banned me.
And it says right here, what happened to me while I was doing my job door dashing. I am being punished as a victim by all sectors involved. The police, DoorDash, and TikTok are all punishing me, a victim. All right. Well, like I said, this just amplifies why robots would get hired, because they won't have to deal with this anymore. They'll be like, oh, okay. And I mean, I don't know if it's true coming from her mouth, but seeing these situations, how they're happening all simultaneously at the same time, you can't help but connect the dots and see what's coming. You can see it. It's not hard to miss. You can see what they're setting up. It's like, hey, they're about to implement digital ID over here because they already did it in the UK. They finna do it here. It's only a matter of time. And plus, with the AI and the robots, they don't need humans to work no more, because we're seeing things like this. And if that's true, the police, TikTok, DoorDash all went on the same side to go against her. That should tell you everything you need to know if that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I know it's true that DoorDash did what they did, but I don't know if TikTok banned her and if the police are not. Because if anything, it would be an indecent exposure. If anything, that's what I would say it is. I would call it indecent exposure. But the bigger picture is, it's going to be, for sure, it's going to be digital ID and robots are being implemented in the future for sure over humans to avoid any kind of issues like this. Because as a business owner, wouldn't you do this as well? Wouldn't you be like, you know what? I could have avoided all this if I just had a robot instead of her. Like straight up, you would have been like, if I had a robot instead of her, we wouldn't have this problem right now. But yet we got her, and here we are dealing with this problem. So for sure, you can see what's going on here. And I think in the future, the very, 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 very soon future, that's what's going to happen. Let me see. Part 2 of the DoorDash girl is insane. So let's see what she says. I can't find her account. I think she was banned. Is she banned on TikTok? I think TikTok banned her. What is her name? Because she's known as the DoorDash girl. Where is she? Let me see. User. Let me see if I can find her. DoorDash girl is... Oh my God. These people made all these spam accounts on her. That's crazy. Wow. They got about 1 million parody accounts on this girl. What is her name though? IRL Monster Hall Dash. Oh my goodness. I can't even see. TikTok is silencing my story. I can't find her. I can't really see it. I can't see anything else. It seems like right now she's all about DoorDash. But she's going hell-bent that she's fighting over this. But it's just showing you it's not just about DoorDash. It's also about the fact that...
You guys, my account
Let me see this real quick. Let me pull this up. Let me see this real quick. Here we go.
is currently at risk of being banned because I had to explain my story one time, right? They took the video down and gave my account a strike. So I explained my story again and censored the video that I have just so they can't take it down for the same reason. They took it down for the same reason again, and now my account has a second strike. Guess what? If I get one more strike, I'm banned from TikTok. So not only did I get assaulted 3 days ago on October 12th on Sunday, I then lost my job. The police are doing nothing. You guys, my account is currently out.
All right. Well, you didn't. I don't think she got assaulted. However, the bigger picture about this is the fact that if social media agrees with you or not, they can ban you. They don't have to listen to you. And if social media is working in tangent with the police, there's a bigger picture to pay attention about this. I know people want to look at her as crashing out, going crazy on TikTok or going crazy over a situation they may not deem as serious, but there's a bigger picture to this situation that's going on. Like, think about what happened, regardless if you agree with her or not. TikTok is silencing her. I don't think Twitter's gonna silence her. Maybe Twitter did. I don't know. And if it's true what she's saying about the police, whether the police are gonna be like, well, what do you want us to do? Like, you pulled out your phone and recorded him. He was in his house. He was in the comfort of his home. Like, you walked on his property. I mean, but the bigger picture is like how she is actually like being silent and getting hit with strikes and things like that. Like, look at that. They're like, if you don't shut up, we'll silence you. Shut up or we'll ban you off our platform. Shut up. You know what I mean? It's not good. It's not good. But I believe she is taking it too far. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, it's going to pan out the way it's going to pan out. And we're going to see. For sure, we're going to see. All right, so moving on to the next thing we have. The next thing that we're going to look at is going to be, what is it? The collapse of America. All right, cool. So we're going to look at the collapse of America. And I have a guy that we're going to look at by the name of Nomad Capitalist. I really enjoy his content. He's going to basically talk about the collapse of America, and he's going to speak on how he feels the government is treating you, even if you're a benefit to the country. And his whole thing is go where you're treated best, which I agree with wholeheartedly. But him looking at the decline in America, and then him speaking and saying how if you're looking at it from a certain perspective, let's say you're rich and you go to the country, they're not saying like, oh, thank you for coming and you know, providing jobs to our people. It's like they're looking at you like, we need to cut it at, basically just like strong arming you type thing because of the collapse that's happening. But I don't really think it's a collapse as much as it is a takeover. I'm gonna say it's a takeover. People call it a collapse. I say it's a takeover because when you look at the bigger picture, a bunch of different texts, a bunch of different civilizations, if you look at it, it's always the people who look up to a government or something that they prop up. And then what ends up happening is that government that they put in charge becomes corrupt. And it's the same story over and 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 over. It's the oldest story of time. And when you look at ancient texts, whether it's Bible or whatever, they try to teach you how to navigate around this constant happening of a government dominating the people. But we tend to ignore it. But let's let him talk about this real quick. I'm going to have him speak on his example of America's collapse, and then we're going to interject and talk in between us. So let me go ahead and pull this up real quick, and let's let him go. Here we go.
And think about the Roman Empire every day. One reason might be that the fall of Rome is a reminder that we too are mortal. No matter how safe, rich, and powerful the United States seems, it might all come tumbling down, as things did that day in 476 when the last Western Roman Empire was deposed. The American founders consciously modeled their new nation and much of its architecture on Athens and Rome, and ever since, Americans have periodically feared that we are living in the decline and fall phase of those empires' stories. And what I think stands out is people focus on the United States as an entity in and of itself. Oh, it's still powerful. Oh, it still has the world's biggest economy and all these different things. Look at the everyday American. Look at their lifestyle. Look at how the quality of living has gotten worse. And then look at the macro factors, the dollar's use as global reserve currency. That percentage has shrunk substantially since the beginning of the century.
Now, that's a good point he made. The dollar, how it substantially has went down. And speaking of that, we're going to take a look at that real quick to get a quick understanding of the dollar being substantially destroyed over a course of what we're about to hit on is 100 years. Excuse me. We'll start off with this right here. Looking at the dollar going down, we have Executive Order 6102. It's an executive order that was signed on April 5th, 1933 by Franklin D. Roosevelt, forbidding the hoarding of gold coin, bullion, and gold certificates within the continental U.S. And it made sure that under the authority of the Trading of the Enemy Act, as amended by Emergency Banker Relief in March 1933. The rationale behind it is stated that this right here, this is crazy. The rationale stated that the reason for the order was that hard times had caused hoarding of gold, stalling economic growth, and worsening the depression, in as much as the U.S. was using the gold standard for its currency. Think about that for a minute. Think about what they're saying. Hoarding gold was causing hard times. So you hoarding gold because they screwed up and is causing the economy to go into a depression. They're saying that because you're hoarding gold, you're causing the depression. So you need to come up off of it. So we're going to change the gold standard. I mean, think about how that sounds. Who is causing a depression because they're hoarding gold? That would clearly tell you that, okay, if I'm saving my money, who am I hurting? Who am I hurting? I'm not hurting anybody. Well, they're saying you're stalling economic growth and worsening the depression. Whose economic growth am I stalling? Well, who gets paid off of GDP and all that stuff? There's going to be the government. And who's causing the depression? Well, I mean, you're the one who, are going to have all these jobs out to people, but you're not able to provide these jobs because of I'm hoarding gold. So it's causing a problem, but that's not the problem. That is not the problem whatsoever. Not at all. Let me see if I can find where the problem was. Right here. Let me see. Here it is right here. Where is it? Making it one of the most valuable? No. Where'd it go? I had it. I lost it. Oh, here it is. So here's the effect. The effect right here states this. It says the Executive Order 6102 required all persons, know that word, to deliver on or before May 1st, 1933, all but a small amount of gold bullion, certificates, and coin owned by them to the Federal Reserve in exchange for $20.67, which would be equivalent to $502 in 2024 per ounce. Under the Trading with the Enemy Act, as amended by the recently passed Emergency Banking Act of March 9th, 1933, a violation of the order was punishable by a fine of $10,000, equivalent to $243,2024, or up to 10 years in prison, or both. So now you're under duress. Now you're under duress and you're being threatened to give the government your gold, but it's a trick. It's a trick if you understand the wordplay that's being used. They're tricking you. They're tricking you into giving away your gold to them because they're not able to provide or hold up their economy that they create. They're not able to hold up their economy. So they're trying to find a way to trick you into giving them gold and turn around and giving you Federal Reserve notes. So let's go back and continue and let this guy finish up, say what he was talking about. So this guy right here, let's let him finish up. Here we go.
Look at its percentage in global trade. Look at all the numbers. They're all moving in the wrong direction for the most part. And that's what you're starting to see trickle down into the lives of everyday Americans. Sure, the country itself is still big and has heft. They can go screw with people and drop bombs on countries and tax their citizens worldwide. But for how much longer? Today, a mix of factors from geopolitical tensions and surging debts to the Trump administration's challenge to free trade and rule of law has brought that fear of being Rome back with force. People are asking whether time is running out for the American experiment and whether Chinese leader Xi Jinping might be right in declaring that the East is rising while the West is declining. Now, here's my take on what I've done.
All right, so now if the East is rising and the West is declining, I mean, that could be agreed or disagreed on. However, if we take a look at a further declining of the West, how the history went on, if you look at this, in 1971, Nixon ends the convertibility of U.S. dollars to gold and announces the wage price control. So not only in 1933 did they change the gold standard, in 1971, Nixon ends the converting U.S. dollars to gold. So they went ahead and they eliminated it for sure. Now, back then, the government was having issues while it seems like the citizen was doing okay. Not saying that they were doing great by this time, but they at least had a gold, somewhat of a gold standard to live by. You somewhat had something to basically live on. At least your money was backed by something. See, back then, at least your money was backed by something. Because it says right here, President Nixon actions in 71 to end the dollar convertibility to gold and implement wage price controls were intended to address the international dilemma of a looming gold run and the domestic problem of inflation. The new economic policy marked the beginning of the end for the Bretton Woods IMF and temporarily halted inflation temporarily. Let's go down to the end. Right here, let me zoom in for you. With inflation on the rise and a gold run looming, who's making the gold run? Nixon administration coordinated a plan for bold action. From the August 13th to 1971, Nixon and 15 advisors, including the Federal Reserve Chairman and the Treasury and the Secretary for IMF, they met at a presidential retreat at Camp David and created a new economic plan. On August 5th, 1971, Nixon addressed the nation a new economic policy that was only intended to create the balance of payments, but also stave off inflation and lower the unemployment rate. Shortly after the plan was implemented, the growth of employment and production in the United States, it increased. Inflation was practically halted during the 90-day wage price freeze, but would soon reappear after monetary momentum in support of inflation had already begun. Nixon's new economic policy represented a coordinated attack on the simultaneous problems of unemployment, inflation, and disequilibrium in the balance of payments. The plan was one of the many prescriptions written to cure the inflation, which would eventually continue to rise. So there was no cure whatsoever. You basically, in the end, long story short, you got screwed. And right now, with what that guy just explained, that's what we're seeing today. Look at how the American, look how the American is living right now. The American is basically in a two-tier economy, rich or poor. And a lot of people in the middle class is getting destroyed. And the working person, the American person, is getting screwed royally. Like royally getting screwed. Like there's no way you can doubt it. And right now the stock market's at all-time highs and doing the best it's ever done, but the regular person's getting screwed. Nobody's able to, manage themselves. A lot of people are being hurt right now. A lot of people are being hurt. And then you got Walmart that gives jobs to 2.1 million people doing a 3-year hiring freeze to train AI to do jobs. Then you hear Indeed has a bunch of ghost jobs on there. People are putting in hundreds to 300s to thousands of resumes. Nobody's getting a job. All of these things are just a boiling recipe for a looming disaster, because if you have all of these things happening, the chaos, if people don't get their food stamps and start looting, the DoorDash girl simultaneously has her little chaos thing happen, showing that if you don't shut up, they'll silence you, and they can just cut you off and fire you without a reason, which is normal, but it is what it is. You have, and then people can't get a job. It's a perfect reason to implement the digital ID. Because if you want to work, you need a digital ID. They already said this in the UK. You can't work without a digital ID. People start looting. Okay, cool. You can't go inside our buildings without a digital ID. All of this, plus a government shutdown, it's like a perfect recipe, a perfect storm to cause a chaotic situation to make people so desperate, so stressed that they were willing to trade their rights for security. That's where I see this heading. There's no other way to look at it. It's looming in that direction. It's not looking good. And hopefully I'm wrong, but I just don't think I am. That's the direction that we're headed in. It's a perfect recipe to do it now. Perfect time to do it now. Perfect time. The World Economic Forum has been on this for a long time. They've been talking about this for years, decades. Now they're here and it's like, all right, perfect. We can do it. And when chaos ensues with this government shutdown happening, it'll be able to do it. Now, with what this guy was talking about, though, he was speaking on, the dollar being devalued. I got a chart I want to show you about that right now. Let's look at this dollar being devalued. Here's gold. Here's a price chart of gold, okay? Here's to give you an idea of whenever gold goes up, just know that the dollar is going down, okay? Always keep that in mind. If gold or commodities are going up, that means the dollar value is going down. Right here is 2015, and over here is 2025 current. 2015, gold was around between $1,000 and $1,300. Okay, we'll say between $1,000 and $1,300. Okay, so right here goes between $1,000 and $1,300 at 2025. All right, in 5 years, the pandemic kicks off. In 5 years, the pandemic hits. Now gold is going to be between I would say between $16,000 and $18,000. So in 2020, $16,000 to $18,000 is where gold is. So from 2015 to 2020, gold went up, I would say, give or take $500. All right. So as we can see here, in 5 years, 2015 to 2020, gold went up about, I would say, $500, because this is just increments of 500. So about $500 it went up, give or take. Now, 2020, it was, we'll say, was it 1800 to now in 2025, gold price is at, we'll just round it up to $4,100. Gold has went up from 2020, from 1800 to right now, we'll say around $4,000. We'll say give or take $4,000, just in case there's a little pullback. So you're telling me in 5 years back this way, it went up about around give or take $500. But this way going forward in the same 5 years, it has gone up over $2,000. $2,000 in 5 years. This should be a telltale sign of everything that you need to know. This should have been a sign of what you should know. And to put stress on everybody with a horrible job market, with the government shutdown, and to make this go up like this, who's going to have money to purchase gold in order to live outside of the system? Nobody. The only thing left, the smart move, if I was a tyrant hell bent on put my foot in all y'all's asses, I would be like, now was a good time. You can't get a job. Government shutdown is going to make sure that, you know, a lot of people are going to stress out, start looting and start doing crazy stuff. People are going to be scared to go out because people are desperate. They hungry. Their kids hungry. There's chaos ensuing. Let's go ahead and take some of their rights for some security and go ahead and implement that good old government digital ID. You want a job? Digital ID. You want to come in the store and buy some food, groceries, hygiene products, anything? Digital ID. I keep saying government ID. I mean digital ID. So yeah, the digital ID for sure is going to be the thing that's going to be looming forward. It all makes sense for a perfect storm. The digital ID is going to be the way to go. I said government ID. I was wrong, but digital ID is going to be it. Now let's go back to the dude over here and let's let him talk about how he sees how governments treat rich people going into different countries. So here we go.
$75 billion, and optimistic about what's happening, and intellectual. Some of these calamities appeared many times, and civilizations usually bounced back. Cities can be rebuilt. Knowledge is rarely lost. What proved fatal is something subtler. In the midst of some of these crises, cultures began to lose confidence. Their mentality and intellectual atmosphere shifted. And that speaks to what I've told you for years. It's about the culture. How do people think? Are they optimistic about what's happening? And how do they view wealth and success? We saw recently the founder of Revolut, this huge $75 billion disruptive financial company. He moved from the UK, which has high taxes, to Dubai, which has very low taxes. People in Dubai have confidence. Things are happening. People are excited. And if you come with wealth, you're welcomed. In the UK, if you have wealth, you're a punchline for Rachel Reeves. She wants to take more of your wealth. That's what's happening in the high tax West. It's not, hey, good job. Thanks for building that. Thanks for creating jobs. It's, you didn't build that. We did that for you, and we're going to take our share. And if you complain, well, we're going to turn society against you because we want more of your money to pay for the debts that we racked up, to pay for our own version of the wars, the plagues, and the natural disasters, which we have mismanaged over the years. And now that there is competition, we don't know how to keep up, and we will put that burden onto you. One ancient Greek
that right there said everything you need to know. What he just said right there, that explained this right here. That explained this and this. That's what he just explained. Oh, there's a problem. There's competition. You got money. Well, we gonna put that burden on you. That's basically what he explained in a nutshell. And he did so eloquently. I give him a round of applause for that one because that was fantastic. So now you're seeing rich people can move where they want to move, but if you're poor and stuck in a situation that you can't get out of, you're stuck and you can't move around. So now they get to put the clamps down on you. And on top of that, the price of gold, like I just showed you, is over $4,000. It's a perfect time to implement a digital ID. Once this chaos breaks out and people start feeling the pain, you know, people, kids start going hungry and stuff like that. Crime starts breaking out. People start going to the hospitals. You already have soldiers on the ground in some states and some cities, and people have had nothing but good to say about it so far from what I've seen. So now when the looting picks up for food, put some more out there. And give them a digital ID on the way out there. Like it's a perfect recipe. It's a perfect storm looming, man. It's a perfect storm looming. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Oh, whoa. It's not looking good whatsoever. At all. And if you don't have the means to move around or do anything, it's not gonna be it's all about money at the end of the day. If you got the money to make something happen, you can make something shake, you're good. Because he has plenty of passports to go from here to here to there to there to here to here. If you don't and you're stuck, oh, they finna squeeze everything out of you. The only way out of it is to have a moral compass about yourself and be disciplined to put yourself in a better position. Otherwise, you fall into degeneracy. You fall into survival mode. You fall into low frequency thinking. That's where they want you. Then they got you. So that's just the times that we're in right now. All right. So next I'm going to switch over into, what is it? What do we have? Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I guess we can go to the AI segment of the show right now because that seems to be it for the economy. Is that it for the economy? Let's see. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, that's going to be it. All right, so that's going to be it for the economy segment of the show. I didn't even realize it. The next slide I thought was going to be for the economy, but it's not. So anyway, that was it for the economy segment of the show. All right, so let's go ahead and get our lady in. She's going to bring us up in here, and we're going to switch over to the last segment of the show. So here we go.
Welcome to the AI segment of the show.
Yeah, boy, she looking good. All right. So now we're in the AI segment of the show. And to kind of bring everything home, to bring everything full circle, to get a good understanding of what's going on, we're going to start this segment off first with a video that I found from Wide Awake Media, where they're basically going to talk about it's a mini documentary, exposes the coordinated supranational agenda to build a global digital control grid. And we're going to see how that works. A fusion of a digital ID, CDs, and all that good stuff. And then the AI facial recognition and all this stuff is going to be added into it. So we're going to take a look to see how this is basically being rolled out already in the UK. But we're going to see it on a global scale. And then we're going to go in and we're going to watch a video game that spoke about the future of AI being implemented. And then we're going to take it a deeper step and go into the blood. So let's go ahead and get started. So first we're going to start with this. Let me go ahead and get this all the way in to make sure you can see it. Is that good? Nah. Can we zoom in some more? Yeah, we can. All right, cool. So we got this video first. Let me change this banner. And we're going to start with this one. It's going to talk about the digital ID. And then we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So here we go. Oh, let me turn the volume up. Let's go.
government-issued digital ID.
A digital ID.
Having all of your personal information stored in one place.
We will spare no effort to make Europe an AI continent.
To integrate you into this great reset.
So how soon could central bank digital currencies become a reality?
You know, we should be helping countries to develop a national digital infrastructure.
Imagine.
You heard what that lady said at first. She said we will stop at nothing to turn Europe into a AI country or digital something country, whatever she said. So you see, they're focused on making it happen. But what does it take in order for it to make it happen? We see UK going out with protests and having a bunch of a bunch of immigrants or illegals or whatever in their country, or illegal immigrants, whatever they got going on. A lot of issues, crimes and protests and all this stuff going on where people fighting. It's chaotic. It's chaotic. You know, jobs and money and all this stuff is a problem. It's chaotic. In chaos, what do you get out of chaos? You get order. Well, there's a new order that's going to be orchestrated out of this chaos. And I feel like in America, we're being put into not put into the same chaos. Our chaos may look a little different, but it's still the same. But let's let them continue. Here we go.
Imagine every purchase you make, every app you use, every place you visit, all contributing to a single digital profile, a personal digital identity. This way, many details of your life could be stored in a unified digital record. That profile might eventually connect with your bank, your doctor, your employer, government agencies, and even your car. This isn't science fiction. It's a vision that organizations like the World Economic Forum are advocating, and that governments and tech companies are gradually moving toward.
Look at that crowd, boy. Look at that crowd. I don't have nothing against nobody, but the World Economic Forum, like, look at the crowd. Just look. You know, the UK, whenever you see people in the UK, right, they're always mad at, I think, the Muslim population, right? They're always mad at the Muslim population for some reason, because I think they're trying to bring their religion or whatever over. It's almost like another crusade happening almost. But the World Economic Forum, I'm pretty sure they got more than one place where they have let me see, where do they have their meetings? Where does the World Economic Forum have their meetings? Let me just see real quick. Upcoming, but where is it? This one's in Switzerland. Do they always have them in Switzerland? Its annual meeting in Switzerland, which will be placed in 2025, 2026. Also a regional conference globally. The past meetings as such have been in Dubai. Okay. So this is probably in Dubai, but it doesn't matter. Wherever they go, they're having the meetings with these people. And a lot of people like argue and complain, as you see, about the people in UK are like, oh, you know, the Muslims are trying to bring their stuff into here when we have all these people. But then when you look at this right here and you see the people that they talking to, it's like the very people that some of the people that the UK are complaining about is people that have this background with them. And it's like, these people are going to enslave they people too. Ain't nobody special. It's just chaos for you. Like, yeah. Y'all gonna fight amongst each other, but we, of all religions, of all backgrounds, of all countries, are going to enslave all of y'all. Like, y'all over here fighting over colors and religion and jobs, and y'all fighting over that, but we are working together to enslave all y'all. Because, you know, you have people in the UK, they're like, you know, the Muslims are trying to take over and all this stuff. And I'm just like, are they really? Or is everybody just about to get enslaved by the same group of people that look like them? I mean, just look at it. Look at the room. I get that they're probably in Dubai with this conference. But, you know, they go to Switzerland, they go to Dubai, they go to New York. I mean, but they all got the same agenda wherever they go. Over here, we're like, oh, get those immigrants out of here. Get those migrants away from us. And they're like, we just want to get them all under control. We don't care. we don't care if they're in Mexico. We don't care if they're in America. We don't care if they're in Asia. We don't care if we were trying to get them all underneath this AI surveillance. That's what we trying to do. But let's continue.
The rollout of this digital ID infrastructure is truly global and coordinated. Oracle founder and billionaire Larry Ellison emphasizes the need to feed AI systems an immense amount of all available government data.
For what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure,
Now, they're talking to governments. They're talking to governments of all countries. That's the key. They're talking to governments of all countries. That's the thing. The governments of all countries are linked together. The people of all countries is divided and separate. Like, you can see it. It's clear as day. Who are they talking to? He clearly said it. He clearly said it. Like, the governments are linked together. I don't care what country you go to. This country's fighting with that country's fighting with this country's fighting with that country. No, they're not. Ain't nobody fighting with nobody. You wanna know who fighting? The citizens of all those countries. They're fighting amongst each other. They're fighting amongst other people's they're fighting. But the governments of each country, they're not fighting against each other. They telling you they fighting. You know how many times we done heard a threat of nuclear war? They ain't finna drop no nuclear nothing. Ain't nothing finna happen. It's about to be a digital chokehold. A digital chokehold of epic proportions that you've never seen before. That's what you've been to see. But let's let them continue. We're going to watch a little bit of this and we're going to move on. Here we go.
digital ID, data centers, and so on.
The first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. Basically, I have to tell the AI model as much about my country as I can. If you want to improve population health, you have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data.
The benefits are clear. Digital ID will make our interactions with each other and with the state faster, cheaper, and more reliable.
God dang it. I didn't mean to put that up there. So when he says what he just said what he just said, right? He's saying it's going to make it faster, cheaper, and more reliable. The question you want to ask is, who is he talking to? Who is he talking to? Always ask yourself that question. Who is he talking to? It's going to make it... Let me hear what he said again. He said the digital ID will make our interactions with each other. Who is our and each other? Governments. Our government and each other. That government, that government, that government, that government. That's who he's talking about. And what is it going to do?
Each other and with the state faster, cheaper, and more.
It's going to make our interactions with the state faster, cheaper, and more reliable. They're talking to each other. And they're talking about how they're about to do your ass. That's what they're saying. They ain't hiding it. That's what they're saying. They're talking to each other about what they're going to do to you. That's what they're saying. That's who they're talking to. They're talking amongst each other about this is what we're going to do to these fools. Okay? You put this digital ID on them, it's going to make things. And then when you put the digital ID on them, for the government, then we go to the state. And for us up here to deal with the state, it's going to make it so much faster, cheaper, and more reliable. We're going to save money. We're going to be able to find everything on one person with the click of one button. And we ain't gonna have no issues, because if we do get an issue, we gonna know that this person is either in the system or out the system. Easy as that. Plus, we got the facial recognition, so we gonna know their face. We gonna have them in the database. It's gonna be quick. like that. No problem. And then we got data centers to help speed up this process of all these data that we're going to have on people. This is governments talking to governments to enslave its citizens. That's what this is. This ain't got nothing to do about morality of the right thing for your fellow man. This ain't got nothing to do with that. This is straight up we enslaving you. Globally. Slowly but surely. We're going to do it. We're just taking incremental steps. We got to do it a certain way so we don't shock you. It's like a frog in a boiling pot where you just slowly turn up the heat. Every year you know it's getting hotter, but you don't react. You will react if the stove was on 2 and then you woke up tomorrow and it was on 7. You'll react quick. If it's on 2, then 2.1, and 2.2, and 2.3, in about 3 years time, that 2 went to 3, but you didn't really think nothing of it. Then about 5 years time, that 3 went to 4, 4.5. Then about 10 years time, that 4.5 went to about 5 or 6. You know, it just keeps creeping, but you don't react to it like you would have when the 2 would have jumped to 7 overnight. So looking at it from that perspective, and you see how these people are, they're on one page, they're linked together. Now let's look at it from a video game perspective. Let's see what would happen when AI is implemented. And let's see how a video game from 2001 can give such a profound speech about today's life. All right, so this game I want to show you right here. This game is called Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. All right, there's a speech that they're going to get. In the game, you're playing with a character. The guy on the right is the person that you play with. The guy on the left is your colonel. And you're going to see some other people pop in. There's other people that you talk to that was working with the colonel to help you on your mission. Your mission is to help go take down some kind of like nuclear, some kind of nuclear machine or weapon that somebody had, right? Well, but the whole time you're interacting with an AI. The person that you're talking to, you think is a real person, but it's an AI. So when this conversation is being had, you're going to notice that this is his first time he's finding out everything. The person that you're playing with. It's like a big climax of the game. And the colonel that you were dealing with, and plus one of the girls that was working with the colonel who you started to catch feelings for, you're going to realize they're all AI. Listen to the speech that this AI gives you. And also, you as a character, you have a nanochip machine inside your body. So there's no privacy for anything that you do. You're basically chipped. You're RFID chip type thing. You're nanochipped. It's a chip inside of you. Everywhere you go, everything you do is documented. But AI is going to be talking to you. Listen to what this thing says. And this is 2001. This is a video game from 2001. Listen to this speech, all right? So here we go. Let's go ahead and let it play. I'm not going to let the whole thing play, but you're going to get the idea real fast.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago.
Over the past 200 years. And it's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. This is an AI talking to this dude. And this game was in 2001. He's breaking it down to him and basically letting him know. The dude said AI, the main character, Raiden, on the right, said the AI was destroyed. He was like, not this one. Not this one, bruh. I can get to you whenever. If it's in technology, I can reach you. And he's about to sit down and speak to him and school him on a lesson, but listen to how the AI is speaking to him. That's what I want you to pay attention to. It's a video game, yes. Listen to how the AI talks to him. It degrades him. It basically speaks in an arrogant tone. It's confidence. It lies. It shows emotional empathy in a certain part, like all these different emotions and the way it's speaking to him condescendingly, all these different things this AI is doing. Don't be surprised if how this AI is talking to this dude, it won't be able to talk to us like this here in the near future. And it's going to change faces and change voices. Just watch how this conversation goes and listen to how it's talking and what it's saying.
The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
There's your lie right there. Our plans have your interests in mind, not ours. That's lies. It has their interests in mind. So the AI is already lying. The AI is more than one person. Is switching between multiple people. Although that's what you did in the game naturally, but you're coming to find out that he's never really met these people in real life. And to sit here and say that this is for you and not us, it's like, no, this is all for your game. And he's going to find out real quickly how informational warfare goes. So here we go.
What? Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
AI is speaking to you about human genome, mapping human genome. And AI is aware of mapping human genome. It said it's been done. Now, if you don't know what that is, let's look this up real quick. Genome mapping, or let's see, what is genome mapping? Let's just find this out real quick. Let's not waste too much time. All right, so here we go. An AI. Now just think about this. This 2001, this AI is talking about having completed the mapping of genome, the completion of genome mapping. Now, genome mapping is the process of identifying and recording the locations of genes, variants, and other DNA sequences on a chromosome, determining the relative distance between them. Historically, this involved physical mapping based on physical distances or genetic mapping based on inherent frequencies. But modern method primarily use genome sequencing and computer analysis. So this AI is talking to him about them having completed genome mapping. Why is this AI, and how does this AI know about your DNA? And it's speaking to you totally on its own. Think about that. Even though it's a game, think about that. So it's very important to look at it from that perspective. But let's continue. And why does it want to know about your DNA? Why does it want to know about your genome? Why does AI want to know that? Why should it know that? If it's not real, if it's not a real thing. Let's continue. Here we go.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept...
Should that information be left at the mercy of nature? Who created nature? And this is a video game talking. 2001. Should your lost memories be left to the creation of nature? Should it be lost? Like, why would that control be under nature? We should control that. We shouldn't just leave all that. We don't want your memories to go away. We don't want your memories to disappear. We want all that. Why should that go to waste? And why should nature be in control of that? Like, listen to these words that are being spoken, and they're talking about your DNA. That's the thing. It's talking about your DNA. And we're going to go in deeper as to understand why DNA is so important. But you have to hear this conversation that was going on over 20 years ago. Let's finish this little thing up. Here we go.
Kept records of our lives through words, pictures. We've always kept records of our lives through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create?
This thing is deep. He said, you think we're trying to control censorship. He's like, you're not? Yes, you are. She said, we're not trying to control content. We're trying to create context. Like, an AI is number one, talking about your DNA. Number two is saying that we don't want to control content. We want to create context. Like, think about what that is saying. We want to create context. And we're talking about your DNA. This is the AI talking from 2001 video game. And they're talking to you in a condescending tone, letting you and speaking to you like you just a straight dumbass, like you just a peon. You have a chip inside of you in this game. It's like a nano chip or a nano micro something in this game. You can't get into certain places with your nano if your nano chip is not activated, or if you're not nano chip to go inside certain places. During this game, the AI would do things to help you get inside of certain places by activating or faking something with your nano chip. But it had that access to you with your nano chip. An AI had that control. Not a human, an AI had that control to a human. Like, think about that. But let's continue. Here we go.
Context.
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
The way the world ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper. You are being fed what you want to be told. Believe in yourself. You can do it. You can succeed. Basically said that we know who's going to win because we pick the winners and the losers. Well, the winners, because everybody's a loser unless we choose for them to win. And it's saying that the world is going to end, not with a bang, but with a whimper. You won't even see it coming. You don't even know how it's going to happen. But this is an AI talking to a human who is nanochipped. And they're letting him know that we picked you for this mission that you're on. So the whole time you were running this mission, this was a simulation for the AI to run experiments on you, the character in the video game. But you were picked from the beginning for a reason out of all the other people to get this far, because your desires were also at play, because they're going to speak on his desires. They're going to speak on his character, going to talk about the kind of person that he is. This whole situation and scenario is set up for the AI's benefit to do what it wants to do in the end. And then it's speaking on 200 years ago and how life started in the ocean 4 billion years ago. Where did you get that kind of information from? That can go all the way back to biblical times with that kind of information. How does an AI get to the point where it's so powerful that it's able to send you on a mission across the seas, across the world, to carry out its bidding? And you ain't ever seen it before. And you're nanochipped inside of your body. And it's talking about your DNA. And it's speaking that they have completed DNA mapping or genome mapping. Remember, genome mapping. What is genome mapping? Where is it? I just had it. Oh, genome mapping is right here. Genome mapping is... Wait, let me
With
stop
Galen's
this.
now approach to nursing
Stop. With genome mapping being is the process of identifying and recording the locations of genes, variants, and other DNA sequences on a chromosome, determine the relative distances between them. So they're basically saying they got you mapped out, knowing everything about the in and outs of your body. That's what an AI is explaining that it knows about you. And this is 2001. Just think about that. Let's finish this up.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you?
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Okay, so this right here, they're talking about the self inside of you. Ah, my eye. They're talking about the self. They're like that self you feel inside of you is just nothing but a bunch of half-truths. Half-truths that we are basically putting inside of you just to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel. You can tie that in to this speech, or not this speech, this passage that I'm about to read to you, or this little short, I don't know what to call it, short mini paragraphs I'm going to read to you. Just imagine this. All right. Let me read this to you. So this right here is from a dude named Rudolf Steiner. And this is what this thing says right here. Let me get this right before I read it. It says right here, in the future, we will eliminate the soul through medicine. Okay? We will eliminate the soul through medicine. And under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a vaccine by the human body, which the human body will be treated as soon as possible right after birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of the soul and the spirit. She basically said that right here. Oh, where'd it go? Right here. She said the self. That which you call the self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover up your own being. But as time goes on, if they're able to implement things like these, for example, materialistic physicians will be entrusted with the task of bringing out the soul of humanity. As today, people are vaccinated against this or that disease, so in the future, children will be vaccinated with a substance that cannot be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this vaccine, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. So basically removing anything that a human can have that be close to consciousness. So they're removing consciousness from you. They will be extremely intelligent for people who have been jibby-jabbed, but they would not develop consciousness. And that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. Maybe that word materialistic could be changed to something else. With such a vaccine, you can easily make the etheric body detach from the physical body. Once the etheric body separates, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body will become extremely unstable. And man will become an automaton because the physical body of man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. Then the vaccine becomes a kind of an aerodynamic force. Man can no longer get rid of the materialistic sentiment that has been given to him. He becomes a materialistic in constitution and can no longer elevate himself to spiritual. Right here. They're basically saying this in a nutshell, but you can apply this vaccine with DNA, which I'm gonna get into it shortly after this video. So let's continue watching.
Your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a concept you conveniently borrowed under the logic that it would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap!
They're talking about spirituality. That's what they're talking about. His consciousness is spirituality. It's like they don't want you believing in something higher or greater than yourself. They specifically stated, we figured out genome mapping. Okay? We figured out genome mapping, and we're basically to the point where we need to get inside of you to disconnect you from any spiritual or consciousness that you may have as a human. And this is an AI talking from a 2001 game. I remember playing this back when I was younger, and this conversation made zero sense. But when it's crazy 24 years later, when you look back on it, I can literally tie this whole conversation together and piece it together with facts and evidence. But we're going to continue. It's almost over.
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best, and you got there all by yourself.
Oh, what happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault.
Now, see, the AI is talking to him, making him doubt himself. And it's basically making him doubt the fact that he even has a soul inside of himself to begin with. So, looking at this game speak to you with the AI in it, talking to you as a character in the game, it has you doubting yourself, explains to you about genome mapping, letting you know that they already have the human genome mapped out. They already understand everything about the genome, the variants and everything that goes with it, all the physical characteristics and traits that it has. It's got it mapped out. And it's even trying to get you to doubt yourself, talking to you in a condescending way. And AI is an artificial intelligence, and you, the intelligence, is getting talked down to. Like, wrap that around your head. Think about that for a minute. There's an artificial intelligence, and it's talking to the intelligence like it ain't shit. It's manipulating, it's lying, it's deceiving, it's giving him half-truths along the way. It's got him doubting himself. He's believing in some of the stuff that this thing is telling him, but also it goes deeper. So then we're going to move on to the next thing, which is going to be, what is this right here? Where is it? Where's my next thing I want to go? Oh, right here. So we have somebody who's going to speak on genome sequencing. Okay. So this lady right here is asked a question from this guy. Clearly, I guess they're from India. And she's going to explain to you what genome sequencing is. The video might stop, but just listen to what she's saying. Because I tried to get this video to work, but it keeps stopping. So just let her talk to you about what genome sequencing is. Here we go.
We are talking a lot about genome sequencing. Can you explain in simple?
You know what? Let me refresh it. Let's see if that helps.
We are talking a lot about genome sequencing. Can you explain in simple words?
Sir, in genome sequencing, we identify the arrangement of the base pairs that are there in the genes and the genes of an individual. And from that particular sequence, we can identify the exact behavior of that particular individual or the strain that we are studying. So if we are we are doing the genome sequence of, say, coronavirus, then we'll be able to predict how the structure of that virus is and how is it going to behave in future.
We are talking.
So with genome sequencing, if you don't understand what she said, she's basically saying that it can basically predict your behavior pattern. So it can honestly know how you're going to react to something, but not just you, but like how she said, the strong flu 19 virus or anything of that nature, whether it's a virus, whether it's a fruit or how a fruit grows, how it's going to ripen in the future, they can predict how all that's going to happen through the genes, through gene sequencing inside of these things, regardless of what it is, human, animal, fruits, vegetables, viruses, bacteria, pathogens, whatever. They're able to understand the patterns of behavior that this gene has and how it's basically mutating or what it's going to do. They're seeing it on a molecular level, basically through the genes. So then here's another video. We're going to have somebody explain to you what the Human Genome Project is, and they're going to give you a brief description. This right here is just a short video, but I want you to pay attention to this because this game, like I just said, was speaking about this in 2001. Okay? And then you want to tie all this in also with the digital ID of what these people were previously. Because if you implement a digital ID, just remember everything keeps getting closer to you. It keeps getting closer and closer and closer. Just think about that. Everything gets closer to you. Because right now, everything we do started with what? Television. Television went to a computer. Computer went to a cell phone. Cell phones, now we're going to meta glasses and VR. Then all of our digital stuff went paper. Then everything we had was paper. The transitioning over from paper to digital. It's getting closer to you. Everything's getting closer. Meanwhile, they already studied everything about you. They know your DNA. They understand the DNA structure. They understand your DNA sequence. They understand everything about you to a molecular level. They just got to get to you. That's the thing. And they're not hiding it. They put it in video games. It's just, do you see it? Do you understand it? And that's what I want to tie together to show you through all of the things that they put around us. It's telling you where everything is headed. You can connect the dots to see where it's headed, but we're going to keep going. And I'm going to show you where this goes. So let's continue. Let's finish this video up real quick. This is going to be the Human Genome Project, a brief overview. So let's understand what this is.
Thanks for stopping by. Today we are talking about the Human Genome Project. Before we discuss the actual project, I want to define what a genome is. So a genome is the complete set of genes in an organism. In the Human Genome Project, that organism is, of course, the human. There are several scientific techniques that made it possible to start and complete the Human Genome Project. These include DNA sequencing, polymerase chain reaction, and electrophoresis. The Human Genome Project was essentially an international research project to map the entire human genome, every section of DNA in a human cell, which is a lot, 3 billion base pairs, in fact. And they've mapped all of them, which took 13 years to complete. The project determined that there are about 20,500 genes in the human genome, and it also discovered the order and location of these genes. It didn't, however, identify what each gene does, and that research is ongoing and there's still a lot to learn. It continues to be a benefit to society as a massive information source for researchers to draw on and to continue their advances in both science and medicine. I hope.
So there's that word medicine. All right, this video is 8 years old, by the way. At least this is when it got put on YouTube. This could be 10 years old. Who knows? Massive source of information for science and medicine. You're telling me that you have understanding of the human genome, right? You have the DNA sequencing down. You have it right here. You're showing you know what each one is. Thymine, is it thymine, adenine, was it guanine and cytosine, right? You know the 4 different nitrogen bases that it has. You understand that it's a double helix. You got all the base pairs down. You see all of this. You have all this down. But you're going to say that in the end, it's a massive source of info for science and medicine. However, we have this man right here who spoke about it a long time ago by Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner? He said in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. But in this video game that we just watched right here, these two were specifically talking about the self. And when they spoke about the self, they were basically saying that the self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel, basically making you try to doubt yourself. The self is a concept that you conveniently borrow under logic. They're trying to make you doubt yourself, but they don't want you to tap into a deeper consciousness that's embedded in your DNA and your genes, because they already stated that they already completed DNA mapping when this conversation started, and this is the AI in a video game talking. Now, understand it's a video game, but this is 2001, and they hide stuff in plain sight. So then we look here and we see that our DNA inside of us, the results is estimated to 20,500 genes in the human genome. They're trying to discover the order and location of all genes, which, like I said, this video is at least 8 years old, could be older. Don't you think they probably figured that out by now? And it's a massive source of information for science and medicine. I just showed you how they're trying to break your connection with the soul with medicine, with what this guy said right here. We'll eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view. Okay? So let's continue and watch this video and get an understanding what genomic sequencing is. Let's watch this video. Here we go.
Genomic sequencing is a process for analyzing a sample of DNA taken from your blood. In the lab, technicians extract DNA and prepare it for sequencing. Within every normal cell are 23 pairs of chromosomes. Chromosomes are structures that house DNA. DNA is coiled into a shape called the double helix. The double helix can be unwound into a ladder shape. The ladder is made up of paired chemical letters called bases. Altogether, our DNA contains about 6 billion such paired chemical bases. There are 4 bases in the DNA alphabet: A, T, C, and G. In DNA, base A joins only with base T, and base G joins only with base C. To read the sequence of bases in DNA, samples are inserted into a sequencing instrument, where high-frequency sound waves break the DNA into smaller pieces that are only about 600 bases long. Special tags are added to the ends of the fragmented DNA. These tagged strands of DNA can then attach to a glass slide. In a sequencer, each piece of DNA is copied hundreds of thousands of times, which creates clusters of identical DNA fragments. Next, the sequencer reads the DNA, one base at a time, using different colored tags for each DNA base. Special sensors within the machine detect the different colored tags. This sequence of colors reveals the DNA sequence of each fragment. Powerful computers piece together these individual DNA fragments and reveal the sequence of your DNA. Then a team of medical experts uses specialized software to analyze and compare the DNA sequences to identify the handful of variants that may be important for your medical care. Discuss the results of the sequencing of your...
Okay. Hopefully you caught what they said right there. They use this for practice, using the sound wave to break some of the DNA. Here we go. Just listen to how they put this and think about how they're able to connect this to a computer. That's the wild part. You're able to connect someone's DNA to a computer. Listen to this.
Are inserted into to read the sequence of bases in DNA, samples are inserted into a sequencing instrument, where high-frequency sound waves break the DNA into smaller pieces that...
Okay, a sequencing instrument. Does anybody know what a sequencing instrument is? Let's find out. What is a sequencing instrument? What is a DNA sequencer? Right here. DNA sequencer. This is what it looks like, in case you're wondering. So this is what they're talking about. I don't know if this is a recent one or old one or whatever, but this is it right here. This is a DNA sequencer, okay? They're putting your stuff in here. Or whoever's stuff. It doesn't matter. It could be a fruit, a plant, a vegetable, a cat, a dog, a mouse, a human. It don't matter. But whatever it is, they're getting, your blood, and they're able to put it in here. Sound blast it, break it, and then tie a fragment to it. But let's let him explain it again. So here we go.
Instrument. The sequence of bases in DNA, samples are inserted into a sequencing instrument, where high-frequency sound waves break the DNA into smaller pieces that are only about 600 bases long. Special tags are added to the ends of the fragmented DNA. These tagged strands of DNA can then attach to a glass slide.
So they add tag strands to it. If I'm not mistaken, I would say this is them adding their tag strand to it. So then they can now put it to a slide.
In a sequencer, each piece of DNA is copied hundreds of thousands of slide DNA. These tagged strands of DNA can then attach to a glass slide.
So they're tying it to a glass. So let me just make sure, tag strands. So let's make sure that we're not getting nothing wrong. Get everything right. So what is a tag strand in a DNA sequencer? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so right here, let me see. Linear DNA molecules are tagged with sequencing adapters preloaded with a motor protein. So other tag strands like genomic signature tags are short sequences used for profiling genomic data, while the express sequence tags are short DNA sequences used to identify active genes. Fluorescent tags on modified DNA bases are dideoxynucleotides are used in various sequence methods, especially staggering sequences to terminate DNA sentences allow for identification. what I'm trying to see what do they look like. Get this thing out for here. There we go. All right. So what does it look like? Probably can't see it. Let's see. So they probably are adding, whatever the tag is, or whatever they're adding to it, it has to be extremely small and microscopic. But anyway, let's continue with this video real quick. But understand this. They're tying your DNA to this machine, a DNA sequencer. All right, so this is the DNA sequencer, and they're using it, and they're jotting it into a computer and getting a very thorough reading. Let's continue.
In a sequencer, each piece of DNA is copied hundreds of thousands of times, which creates clusters of identical DNA fragments. Next, the sequencer reads the DNA, one base at a time, using different colored tags for each DNA base. Special sensors within the machine detect the different colored tags. This sequence of colors reveals the DNA sequence of each fragment. Powerful computers piece together these individual DNA fragments, and
so a computer is piecing together your DNA fragments. So they put it in a sequencer, then from the sequencer, they're able to put it into a computer. So now your DNA blood is being read and colored and tagged out. So now you're seeing ATCTAGG. So now you're seeing how to read the code of your DNA. So they're reading the code of your DNA in a computer. They're reading the code of your DNA in a computer. All they just take is a blood, tag it inside the DNA sequencer, and they're able to copy it, read it into the computer to understand what your DNA code looks like.
And reveal the sequence of your DNA. Then a team of medical experts uses specialized software to analyze and compare the DNA sequences to identify the handful of variants that may be important for your medical care.
So they can take your blood and figure out, okay, what can we do to this person's DNA, and what could we add to their DNA to change the molecular structure of their DNA? So they have your DNA down to a science, or they can have your DNA. I'm not saying they do, but they can have your DNA down to a science to be able to copy it into a computer, read it, and then go in and then determine what they could do by adding something to your blood that's going to alter the DNA sequencing of your DNA. And this video was in 2018, at least it was posted in 2018. So it could be older than that. So this is how deep this goes. They're able to go and take your DNA, put it into a computer, map out your DNA sequences, which is A to T and G to C, and then copy it, then figure it out, and then medically figure out how they can either improve you or unimprove you, however you want to look at it, based on your DNA. Let's finish it up.
Discuss the results of the sequencing of your DNA with your doctor and a genetic counselor.
Who the hell needs a genetic counselor? No, sir. No, sir. Okay, so cool. So now we see that. So now we see what DNA sequencing is. We get it. We see how they do it. They take it, put it into a computer. Okay, cool. So then the next thing that we go to is we look at this right here. In this, what is it? This slide right here, I found this particular person right here. This guy by the name of Feng Zhang. Feng Zhang. I think that's his name. Feng Zhang. That's it, right? Feng Zhang. All right, so this guy right here, well, first of all, where did he go? Here he goes. Okay, so where is he? Feng Zhang. There you are. Gotcha. So Feng Zhang right here. So this guy right here, who is I think he went to MIT or something. I'm gonna read this thing to you right here. So since we have an idea understanding, I'm gonna read something from a biological engineer and read his story on his understanding of DNA and something he found out called CRISPR. So let's go ahead and read it. So Zhang decided to become a biological engineer. He forgot tools to repair the broken genes that are responsible for many of humanity's most intractable afflictions. Following year, he went to Harvard, been a member of the Society of Fellows, became the first scientist to use a molecular set of proteins called tails to control the genes of a mammal. Imagine being able to manipulate a specific region of DNA. Almost as easy as correcting a typo. One molecular biologist wrote, referring to tails, which stands for transcription activator-like effectors. And by the way, this was in 2015 when this was written. It's called Gene Hackers. He conducted that although such an advance will probably never happen, the new technology was as close as scientists could get. Having already helped assemble two critical constituents of the genetic toolbox used in thousands of labs throughout the world, Zhang was invited at the age of 29. Maybe I should read it like this. To create his own research team at the Broad, one day soon after his arrivals, he attended a meeting during one of his colleagues mentioned that he had encountered a curious region of DNA in some bacteria he had been studying. He referred to it as CRISPR. So this is where it gets good. I've never heard of that word, and that's what he said. And they explain his face. He read every paper he could about it. 5 years later, he still seemed surprised by what he found about CRISPR. He learned it was a strange cluster of DNA sequences that could recognize invading viruses, deploy a special enzyme to chop them into pieces, and use the viral strands or shards that remain to form a rudimentary immune system. The sequences, identical strings of nucleotides that could be read the same way backwards and forwards, look like a Morse code, a series of dashes punctuated by an occasional dot. The system had an awkward name, clustered, regularly, interspaced, short, palindromic repeats, but a memorable acronym. CRISPR has two components. The first is essentially a cellular scalpel that cuts DNA. The other consists of RNA, the molecule most often used to transmit biological information throughout the genome. It serves as a guide, leading the scalpel on a search past thousands of genes until it finds and fixes itself to the precise string of nucleotides it needs to cut. It has been clear, at least since Louis, or whatever this person's name is, did some of his earliest experiments into the germ theory of disease in the 19th century, that immune system of humans and other vertebrates are capable of adapting to new threats, but few scientists have considered the possibility that single bacterial cells could defend themselves in the same way. The day after he heard about it, he went somewhere, flew to Florida. He sat there reading about CRISPR. Everything that he could find, he read more and more and more. He was very excited. Now, it didn't take him long to realize that if nature could turn these molecules into genetic, learn to create synthetic versions of the RNA guides and program them to deliver their cargo virtually to any cell. Once the enzyme locks onto the matching DNA sequence, it can cut and paste nucleotides with the precision we have come to expect from the search and replace function of a word processor. This was a finding of mind-boggling importance, and it set off a cascade of experiments that have transformed genetic research. So you can just cut and paste in the DNA, just cut and put something else in, cut it and paste something else in that easily. All right, so with CRISPR, now remember this is 10 years ago, this is 2015. So with CRISPR, scientists can change, delete, and replace genes in any animal, including us. Working mostly with mice, researchers have already deployed the tool to correct the genetic errors responsible for sickle cell anemia, muscular oh my God, I can't say this word. Muscular dystrophy. Sorry. And the fundamental defect associated with cystic fibrosis. I can say that word. One group had replaced a mutation that caused cataracts. Another has destroyed receptors that HIV uses to infiltrate our immune system. The potential impact of CRISPR on biosphere is equally profound. And then last year, by deleting all 3 copies of a single wheat gene, a team created a strain that is fully resistant to powdery mildew. Okay, the technology has made it possible to study complicated illnesses in an entirely new way. A few well-known disorders such as Huntington's disease, sickle cell anemia are caused by defects in a single gene, but most devastating illnesses among them, diabetes, autism, Alzheimer's, and cancer, are almost always the result of a constantly shifting dynamic that can include hundreds of genes. The best way to understand those connections has been to test them in animal models, a process of trial and error that can take years. CRISPR promises to make that process easier, more accurate, and exponentially faster. Here we go. Inevitably, the technology will also permit scientists to correct genetic flaws in human embryos. Any such change, though, would infiltrate the entire genome and eventually be passed down to children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and every subsequent generation. That raises the possibility more realistically than ever before that scientists will be able to rewrite the fundamental code of life with consequences for future generations that we may never be able to anticipate. So, with that being said, and you can see it right there. I guess I didn't have it up, but right there. Where is it? Right here. That raises the possibility more realistically than before that scientists will be able to rewrite the fundamental code of life. Okay? So there it is right there. Now, that's in 2015. Then we go on and we find this lady. This lady right here. We got this young lady right here. She's at the 3rd International Summit on Human Genome Editing. Her name is Victoria Gray, describing her battle with sickle cell to a summit of gene editing experts. She received a CRISPR treatment in 2019 that resolved her symptoms. Now, it had its pros and cons at this time. That's her in 2019 explaining it. You know, she had her pros and cons. There were some issues. They did have to do some bone mirroring and stuff like that. I'm trying to find out where it says it at. I can't find it. I don't want to go too deep into it. But they had to do certain things. And treatments that attempt to break genes include one designed to try to zap the HIV. Another one, well, that's not it. I'm trying to find where it says it. Where is it? The revelations. All right, here goes right here. Researchers say techniques marched forward to use this medicine have become remarkably fast. Scientists revelation because it is now, well, no, that's not it. But anyway, this lady right here, she did it. And, you know, just to show that they're already, you know, doing it. It's already a done thing on humans. It's not something they haven't done. It did come with complications and issues and stuff like that, but they did do it. They had to do something with her bone marrow or something like that. They had to do something like that, but it's been done on a human. But as we've seen already, that doing it on a human does come with a change that would infiltrate the entire genome and eventually be passed down to children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren and every generation after that. So you're seeing them do that. Now, she was in 2019, and we're seeing how they could do this with anything. You can do this with anything. It doesn't matter what it is. For example, we'll watch this little short video, and it's going to explain to you the 3 different ones. You're going to have CRISPR, I think Tails, and another one. They're going to explain how these things work. I'm going to let them talk, and then after this, we're going to watch another video. It's going to further explain the consequences of this situation that was inevitable to happen, but of course, they couldn't let everybody know until it was too late. So here we go. Let's pull this up. So we have this right here, and this is about designer babies. This is another old video, maybe like 2018, 2015, but it's going to give you a good explanation of all 3, even though I just read them to you. But just listen to this video real quick, and we'll watch about a minute of it, then we'll move on. So here we go.
The reality of having designer babies is closer than ever, but this begs the question, if you were having a child, would you want to pick and choose their traits? Is this even ethical? And how far can the use of these technologies actually go? Remember, we post new content every single week, so subscribe to our channel and click that bell icon so you don't miss out. Now, back to the video. The phrase designer baby
What up, Jungle? What's going on? Sorry I didn't see you there. I was in here preaching, teaching the lesson. What's going on, Jungle?
refers to one whose genetic makeup has been altered or chosen to provide the desired genome. There are currently 3 technologies that have been developed to enable this, all of which involve manipulating fertilized eggs before in vitro fertilization. The first one is called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. This is the simplest of the 3 methods and doesn't involve any gene editing. Instead, it involves choosing between viable eggs for the one that best satisfies what the parents want. For example, it can be used to screen for diseases or even to predetermine gender. The second one is TALENs, transcription activator-like effector nucleases. These are enzymes that can be designed to remove specific parts of the DNA strands. They then replace this section, thus allowing edits to be made. In theory, this technique can be used to target any section of DNA and has been used to design plants, fuels, and even pets to certain specifications. The third one is CRISPR, which stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats, and it's a process that was discovered in the DNA sequence of certain bacteria. Their DNA contains snippets of the DNA of viruses that have previously attacked them to allow them to recognize any threat in the future. The method by which this new DNA becomes a part of their own has been replicated to allow the modification of other DNA strands. This again, in theory, allows edits to be made to any part of the genome. So can these methods be used on humans? Of these 3, only the use of pre-implantation genetic diagnosis is already being used for human pregnancies, with the first known case being as early as 1988. There remains a long way to go before the other 2 methods are deemed safe enough for human use. And as far as we know,
okay, there's a long way to go before they can use TALENs and CRISPR. However, your boy here found out right here In 2019, this lady right here, Victoria Gray, I don't know if I'm trying to get it to where you can see it down here. It says it right there. Victoria Gray describing her battle with sickle cell disease to a summit of gene editing experts. She received a CRISPR treatment in 2019 that resolved her symptoms. So that last video says that they're not able to do it. They're not able to do it yet. Well, 2019, they did it. They did it. Came with some complications, but they did it. Now that's 2019. We're in 2025. That's 6 years. A lot of stuff happens. Things, you know what I mean? 6 years have passed. Technology clearly has advanced. So as we go on and we keep looking, after 2019, we all know what happened in 2020, right? We all know what happened. The good old pandemic happened in 2020. Well, you know, everybody had their things and their things to say about the pandemic in 2020, and people felt a certain way. However, as time passed by, there was a recent thing that came out, and this thing came out in September of 2025, I believe. I could be wrong. Let me double check myself to make sure I'm not giving out wrong stuff. Let's see here. This was, September 2025. This thing came out, and they spoke about a finding. A finding found that a genetic fingerprint of the strong flu 19 has embedded in the DNA of a 31-year-old cancer patient. The first direct proof that mRNA fragments can integrate into the human genome. My God. The finding shatters years of assurance from big pharma and health officials who swore the shots could never alter DNA and described a perfect storm. Tumor suppressing genes shut off, DNA repair mechanisms broken, and cancer driving pathways ignited. All right, so there's a quick video on this. We're going to go ahead and watch this little video and see what these people have to say about the article. Here we go. Come on.
A new preprint study presents the first direct evidence that genetic material from mRNA COVID-19 vaccines can integrate into the human genome, potentially triggering aggressive cancers, according to the authors of the study. The findings contradict assurances that the shots cannot alter DNA or carry harmful DNA fragments. From The Defender, alarm bells. Genetic fingerprint of COVID vaccine found in 31-year-old cancer patient's DNA. It says genetic material contained within mRNA COVID-19 vaccines can integrate into the human genome, potentially contributing to the onset of aggressive cancer, new research suggests. Quote, "We believe this is a warning signal the world cannot afford to ignore," said epidemiologist Nicholas Hulscher, one of the co-authors. The study's results contradict claims by vaccine manufacturers and public health agencies that the mRNA COVID-19 vaccines can't alter human DNA and are not contaminated with DNA fragments, according to Hulscher. The preprint study was published on Monday on Zenodo, an online research repository operated by CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. It is the first study to present direct evidence of genetic material integrating into the human genome, according to the authors. This pattern is biologically plausible for accelerating cancer progression, it says. The study focused on the case of a previously healthy 31-year-old female who developed rapidly progressive stage 4 bladder cancer within a year of receiving 3 doses of the Moderna mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. The case was described as an unusual and aggressive presentation for this age. According to Hulscher, the study found that her vaccination led to a series of adverse events that likely led to the onset of cancer. He said, quote, "We saw a perfect storm. Genes that normally drive cancer were switched on. Genes that normally repair DNA were broken, and broad disruptions in cell signaling were present across every biospecimen we tested. All of this emerged within a year of her mRNA vaccination series. Taken together, this pattern is biologically plausible for accelerating cancer progression." The study revealed that a fragment of genetic material in the patient matched 100% with a sequence contained within the spike protein portion of the Pfizer-BioNTech mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. Although the patient received only the Moderna vaccine, Holscher wrote that the two vaccines share identical stretches of nucleotide sequence within the spike protein. Moderna's proprietary plasmid sequence has not been deposited in NCBI, a US government database, so the Pfizer vaccine was identified as the closest match, the authors said. According to the study, the odds of such a fragment being a 100% match with the sequence contained within the vaccines are approximately 1 in a trillion. It should
1 in a trillion. Bruh. Come on now. 1 in a trillion. 1 in a trillion. Now, with that being said, again, this gentleman right here, I'm going to read to you. Right here, by the name of Rudolf Steiner. He wrote The Fall of the Spirits of Darkness, September 30th, 1917. Okay? As you can see it right there. I'm going to read you a piece of a chapter from this book called Humanity's Struggle for Morality. All right, I'm going to read you a piece of this. Listen to what this man said way back when. Now, this is the same man I told you earlier. It's the same person who I told you earlier. And this is a little bit of a lengthy read, but not too long. It's the same man who I read this to you earlier, who said that in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. Under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a vaccine by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible right at birth, so that the human cannot develop the thought of the existence of the soul and the spirit. Then at the very bottom, when the vaccine becomes a kind of a Armanic force, man can no longer get rid of the materialistic settlement that has been given to him. He becomes materialistic in constitution and can no longer elevate himself to the spiritual. Rudolf Steiner. All right. So this what I'm about to read to you is from that guy. All right. So let's listen to what he has to say here. I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but I'm going to read it to you because it's a little bit of a lengthy read, but just hear me out. 1917. Humanity is laboring under numerous illusions that have origin in the past. The consequences of these have not been as serious in the past as they will be in the future evolution of humanity. I think it is fair to say that, generally speaking, human souls are still very much asleep at the present time and fail to notice many of the tremendous changes now taking place. Sometimes, however, some of this comes through at an intrinsic level, and individuals are then aware of the great riddles of the age. However, many are not fully active inwardly and therefore not yet able to experience these riddles in full depth. Taking note of the turbulent and destructive event of today, some individuals are becoming aware of one such riddle. Yet, they are in many aspects quite unable to find the answers. The riddle I am speaking of is the discrepancy between intellectual and moral development in human evolution. Intellectual. Strangely enough, recent developments in materialistic thinking have led none other than the Darwinists to this conclusion. Haeckel, too, and Haeckel is Haeckel, has commented on this effect in his, I can't say this German word, Weltratsel. Now, in these times of war, it can be seen again and again that this imbalance between intellectual and moral life in human evolution is beginning to puzzle people. They say to themselves, quite rightly, that the life of the intellect, the rational mind, has made tremendous advances. This is what many people call the realm of science today. It provides the basis for the modern materialistic view. Consider the tremendous advances made as the laws of nature have been penetrated, studied, and finally used to build all kinds of instruments. Most recently, especially the instruments for unaliving. People will also begin to consider other things in the light of this science of theirs. They will analyze foods for their constituents and manufacture chemical foods, never realizing that chemical foods are not the same as those provided by nature, even if they do have the same constituents. Intellectual, or we may also say scientific. Development has shown an upward trend. Moral development has not progressed at the same extent. Surely the present world catastrophe could not have arisen, or taken the course in any action. If moral development has kept pace with intellectual development, it would be in the right to say that because moral development has not progressed, intellectual development has assumed something of a moral character and has in many respects become downright destructive. Many people are beginning to notice that the moral development has not been keeping pace with the intellectual development of humanity today. However, no one asks at the present time that issues like these should be gone into sufficiently deeply so that they may serve a truly human evolution. No one asks that they should be tackled at the point at which where it is fully evident that modern people simply cannot penetrate to deeper sources of human thinking and human action, because elements which are separate and distinct in man and relate to quite different regions of the universe are all mixed up in people's minds. Last paragraph. Modern scientists are now faced with a human being consisting of physical body, etheric body, and the body of generative powers, astral body and ego, but everything is mixed up. People do not make the distinction in modern science. How can we arrive at a science that will enable us to grasp these things if everything is mixed up together? The truth is that these different aspects of human nature belong to entirely different regions and spheres of the universe. Our physical body, our generative powers relate to the physical world. With the astral body and the ego, we enter a totally different world every night, and initially it has extraordinarily little to do with the world on which we are awakened at during the day. The two worlds really only work together insofar as they are brought together in the human realm. So this is 1917. This individual by the name of Rudolf Steiner came to this conclusion, or at least he wrote about this, I should say. So he wrote about this from 1917, and I'm sitting here giving you proof and evidence of cases and situations where they're altering the sequence of your DNA. And Rudolf Steiner has said way, way back that they're going to use medicine to basically eliminate the soul within you. And they've already said under Fang Zhang, the guy that I read to you earlier, where is he at? Fang Zhang, the guy that I read to you earlier, the biologist. They've already made it clear that they have that raised the possibility for them to realistically than ever before, scientists will be able to rewrite the fundamental code of life, knowing that the sequences for future generations may never be able to anticipate the consequences that are going to happen. And then they know that if they can do this, the genome will eventually be passed down to children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Now, when you see stuff like this, you have to ask yourself this question. Look at the state of world that we live in today. Just look at the world that we live in today. Nobody wants to get married, or at least marriage is at a low. Degeneracy is at a high. Collectively thinking, fear is strong. And the way people think is not on one accord. This race don't like that race. This religion don't like that religion. This political party don't like that political party. This country's warm with that country. Like all of these divides, and they all create a low frequency way of thinking. You have the rich, the crazy rich, and the poor. Like a two-tier society that we live in, and it's about to be globally. All this going on. And this whole time, these people got your DNA down to a science. Got it in the computer, got it in the database, know how to splice it. They've already cured somebody of, what was it? What did she get cured of? Was it sickle cell? Where you at, girl? She was cured of sickle cell. Is that what it was? Yeah, she was cured of sickle cell disease in 2019. Now we got a government shutdown going on. So people are in a financial panic. We have Stock market at an all-time high. Job market is extremely stressful right now. AI's coming in, taking entry-level jobs. Walmart's coming in and doing a 3-year hiring freeze, going to implement AI into it. All this is happening. UK just rolled out the digital ID, and the World Economic Forum is teaching governments across the world on how to implement this system onto its citizens in every country a government is in, just about. So you have all this stuff going on, and they got your DNA down. And then recently, just recently, in September 2025, recently it just came out with the article saying that the strong flu 19 has now been proven that it can alter your DNA. When millions of times it's been asked, and they're like, no. Now it's finally came out. All this is going on. And to think about the people that are in power, that are in play doing this, you have to think about this. This is a moral battle. It's about your morality. It's about your discipline. Because even people who you find amoral, they can have better discipline and a better moral compass than you in a sense. Well, we'll say better discipline. They could have better discipline than you. It's kind of like Thanos. Everybody looked at Thanos as the bad guy, but if you look at Thanos, the way he proved, considering him the bad guy in the movie, he proved with utter discipline and focus and determination of a goal, with nothing stopping him, he could get what he wanted. And even if his final agenda for achieving the stones was not morally correct, in a sense, because of his discipline, which a lot of moral people, your discipline might not be as good as somebody who is amoral, but that doesn't change the fact of who followed the principles and who didn't. So with that being said, I got one last video, and this is a video from a Tucker Carlson network. Hopefully he lets me use it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'm just gonna play a little piece of it. Now, with all of this stuff going on, and these people who have control over, genome mapping and DNA sequencing and all this stuff, you got to have money to do it. You got to have the bread to do it. And at the World Economic Forum, was it the World Economic Forum or whatever it was, they were speaking on data centers and AI and all this stuff. So clearly it was a bunch of billionaires having billionaire talk. But then Tucker Carlson spoke to this dude, and he said that every tech billionaire is having the same haunting vision. And let him talk about the vision that he claims every billionaire is having. I'm not saying that this may not be 100% correct, but if you look at the world we live in, come up with your own conclusion. So here's the last video I'm going to show, and then we're going to end the show on this right here. So here we go.
A lot of these guys, what was interesting about Nick Land is that they keep getting the same ideas. These guys take drugs, whether it's Elon, Nick Land, or even in the 70s, the scientist John C. Lilly. John C. Lilly was an eminent scientist, brilliant dude. He started doing ketamine, the same drug everyone does in Silicon Valley. And when they do this drug, and even if you're an atheist materialist, this is still interesting, they all get the same idea, which is that the machines are, coming, it's like Skynet and Terminator. They're coming together, they're evolving to eventually take over, and that we are hanging ourselves with the rope we're currently building by building this. But this goes back, Nick Land was interesting, but he became less interesting to me when I realized that other scientists in the 70s, John C. Lilly, the movie Altered States from 1980, his horror movie, this is about, he would have these visions about the machines. He called them the solid state entities. He would have this in the 70s, Tucker, in this tank, the isolation tank he'd go in. The new, and you probably haven't seen it, but the new Mission Impossible movie, Tom Cruise, he fights this AI and he goes in the isolation tank and he has these visions of it. One of the biggest movies of this past summer. And that plot point comes from John C. Lilly and the visions he would get of AI apocalypse in the isolation tank back in the 70s. So I bring this up to say Nick Land is the most foremost proponent of it that has a public name, even though he's not that famous right now. But this goes back a long time, at least back to the 70s.
So with that being said, nothing is new under the sun at all. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Like he said, all the way back to the 70s. And these people have been having dreams and thoughts like this. And I would play the rest of it, but I do got to go. I got to hurry up and get up out of here. But if you want to watch it, it's the Tucker Carlson Network saying every tech billionaire is having the same haunting dream. You can watch the rest of it. But it's just to show you mentally, where we're headed. And it's you who have to get control over what it is that you want to do. But you have the knowledge and information to know what you will allow and what you won't allow. What you will stand up for and what you won't stand up for. And you can kind of know how deep this thing goes. Because you know how deep it goes. And if they're altering your DNA or your genes or whatever, since the passing of time, has anybody in authority ever had your best interests at heart? Ask yourself that question. Anyway, I got to get up out of here. I got to go. Thank y'all for tuning into another DLE Fitness Live show. Hopefully you learned something new in today's show, because I put it on you today, boy. I put it on you. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. I came with it. I came with the thunder. Pat myself on the back. I got to get up out of here, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I will catch y'all tomorrow on the next show. Hopefully you hopefully you watch today and you join tomorrow. You learn something and gain some value from this information that I gave you. But I got to roll. I appreciate you. I see y'all tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Be safe and peace.
Thank you for watching D. Elliott Fitness Livestream. Goodbye.
Then buy the dream. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the house, in the booth, playing beats. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the house, in the booth, playing beats. Counting cash and smoke green, can be blow cloud like a smoke machine. She got notes to sing. Bumblebee ass, y'all know it's thing. I plug your bitch like a 6-string. Jordan with the bitches got 6 rings. Smoke till my bitch a split screen. The rest with pain pills and sipping lane. Riding dirty, but I'm extra clean. Lyrics nice, but I'm extra mean. All-star heavyweight like Wolverine. The bitch learns like she open me. I flip money like Clover G. Gang hustle like TIP. It's hard baby like DIG. Acronym like KRT. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock. In the booth, playing beats, the game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in the house, in the booth, playing beats, in the beats like RP. No hard shit, where your artery. Cutting up, who sharp as me? Rolling up accordingly. Pulling hoes, no sorcery. Rapping like y'all forcing me. If I ain't right, then it's forgery. Nigga selling to the rock like a Florida beat. Lyrical monster on the Lord of Beats. Text nigga, my bitch Georgia Peach. Pimp tight nigga, I do more than cheat. Cold like D-Wade, I ignore the heat. Bitch, I'm on way, hit the short for weeks. Money jumping like the nigga on the sneeze. Cut the pair of jeans, give me on the beat. Bitch, I'm always winning like what's the feet? The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on